Both of them were in their prime. Both of them were world champions. It probably would have been a biggest fight in British boxing history. But now, Fury, you've seen a decline in his last fight. AJ hasn't been the same for a while. And it looks like it's just another big retirement paycheck for the both of them.
Yeah, but Mohammed, you'll watch it, right? You won't miss it.
No, I don't think I watch it, if I'm honest. Like, there's a fight on Saturday, Benavidez versus Ramirez. That's a fight
that's a proper fight. Yeah,
you see, that's a proper fight. Wardley and Dubois, another fight. That's right. You know what I mean? There's jeopardy behind it. But this fight is just like Eubank and Ben. It's just another cop-out. Obviously, these two guys have achieved more than Ben and Eubank, but it looks like 5 years ago would have been great, but now I don't think I'd be wasting my time on watching, if I'm honest.
Interesting. Mohammed, listen, thanks for that. Arsenal fan, boxing fan, Keith, we know you. Keith, good morning. You having this fight?
Good morning. I'm taking a favour. What a lot of nonsense. Fury against Joshua. Let me tell you something. Anthony Joshua is one of the...
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
At 10 o'clock, good morning. Here are your sports headlines. I'm Will Hobbs. talkSPORT understands Sheffield Wednesday should have a new owner in place by today. The £20 million takeover by US businessman David Storch is at the final paperwork stage. Storch has flown in to complete the deal ahead of Wednesday's final sold-out home game of the season with West Brom tomorrow. Wednesday, we understand, will still start next season in League One on minus 15 points. More on that to come. Meanwhile, a head-scratcher of a handball by Luca Digne and the subsequent Chris Wood penalty means it's advantage Forest heading to Villa Park next week. However, Unai Emery's post-match thoughts were dominated by his dismay at VAR after Elliot Anderson's sliding follow-through crunched into Ollie Watkins' ankle.
It's a huge responsibility. We are here professional, you are professional, but you are doing a very bad work because it was so clear for everybody.
So a turbulent season that's featured 4 Forest managers may well finish in league survival and European glory. But despite the value of their squad on paper, Sean Dyche says it hasn't been a shock to see Forest struggle this season.
When I went in there, I was trying to calm that down because they spend money and everyone now equates money spent. That's it. You're brilliant. Yeah. Look at Tottenham this year. He's getting dangerously impatient football now. You know, it does take time to develop these players into real footballers and real Premier League footballers.
Elsewhere, with Andoni Iraola being linked heavily with the Manchester United job, Ben Foster says Michael Carrick has to get the role full-time.
They've got a good team, Man United. They've got good players. It's just about getting them out there and not worrying about the weight of playing for Manchester United, and that's what Carrick has done. So I just think it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you do it now?
And a reminder of this morning's breaking news. talkSPORT understands Sheffield Wednesday should have a new owner in place by today. There's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
A 45-year-old man's been charged with attempted murder after 2 Jewish men were stabbed in North London, and private landlords could face fines of up to £40,000 if they evict tenants without a valid reason. More with them at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Spring forwards with Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres with a 25,000 mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
A very warm day with spells of sunshine. Some showers will move eastwards throughout the afternoon, affecting Western England and Scotland.
Hello, very good morning to you. You're listening to Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and the former England striker Gabby Agbonlahor, and we're live on talkSPORT this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. So Forest now 90 minutes away from their first European final in 46 years after a 1-0 win over Aston Villa at the City Ground. I'm sure Gabby's taken that well. Meanwhile, after 267 days and 540 games, the Championship promotion and playoff races will be decided by the final kick of the football tomorrow. 90 minutes that can define a season, and we've got it all on talkSPORT. Ipswich in the driving seat. Surely they won't let it slip at the last hurdle. Also today, can Spurs pick up win number 2 of 2026? How assured can Manchester United be in considering themselves Premier League challengers again next season? And why have Burnley and Parker given up when they still could have a big say in this season? It's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor, and we're live on talkSPORT. Yes, very good morning to you. It's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. The Fun Boy Free on a Friday. Gabby, top guest booker as well as former England international. Do you get paid to do more for breakfast than you do for us? Is that why you got Frank Lampard on that show instead of this one?
I can't tell you my contract details.
Oh, dear.
Very private, mate. Cause trouble.
You okay, falling off your chair? To be fair, we'd just be happy for you to stay in your chair rather than walking out if you don't win something tonight. Are you going to stay for the whole show, or are you just going to disappear halfway through? Because famously, you got the ump and stormed off last year when you didn't win the award. And this year, there's a video of you doing the rounds at the SJAs when you didn't win an award again, walking out.
Listen, I think it's a little bit odd that someone decided to film me going to the toilet. But look, I did bring this in for you boys because we're all part of the team, aren't we? Look, there you go. There's the White and Jordan SJA trophy.
You've been a big
You
part of it.
can't touch that. You haven't won that. You can't. It's like the FA Cup. You can only touch it if you win it.
The nomination includes something from the Friday show.
Yeah, but listen, we're a very small part of a very big cog.
Stop trying to be humble.
I was just surprised that Cookie made the show. I thought he was still going to be on stage, taking a picture with the winners.
When Simon Jordan said on Tuesday morning the Friday show is a millstone around our neck, I wonder who he meant.
Harsh that.
I did see Simon on Tuesday. I said to him before he shot, I said, Simon, do the Friday guys get any of the bonus that you got for your award or anything? He's going, you lot are ruining it. You're ruining White and Jordan. How dare you?
The highlight of the night actually was not me being filmed storming off. It was how confident Andy Goldstein and the Drive team were that they were going to take this award.
Deflection.
Oh, I'm not getting involved, mate.
Mate, Oh, hold on a second. Didn't you say if Drive had won, I would have gone up on stage with them as well?
Yeah, well, you got Ready, Steady, Crook on a Friday, best feature on radio.
Ah, dear, oh dear. Well,
Andy listens to this show, mate. I won't be happy with that, Crookie.
Well, the good news is that Crookie will stay for the whole thing today because there's no members of my family here for him to go home with randomly. He went to a funeral, my dad's funeral on Wednesday.
Yes.
Right, and it was lovely, and we paid tribute to Little Pete, and it was great. Then we had a bit of a celebration. Me, Crook and Minto ended up in a curry house with 25 members of the family.
Wow.
And Crook just got in a car with one of my cousins.
Really?
And was not seen again for 14 hours.
Interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
Was that before the bill come?
No, if he was paying the bill,
are we?
if he was paying the bill, we'd be sharing curries. We'd have one rice between 4, and no one would be allowed a naan bread.
Crookie's definitely one of those, though. See, that the meal was for 20 people, he says. Crookie's probably like, so I didn't have more than 2 drinks. So mine is £32.50. That's what I'm going to pay. I've got to go.
Well, all this is good distraction for you, Gabby, isn't it? Because you're not in a great mood today.
I'm not,
I've got zero sympathy for angry Gabby, says Lee. It's not nice when VAR lets you down in Europeans a football semi-final. Is it? From Lee, an Arsenal fan. Oh, Gabby implying Forest won because the officials were Portuguese, just like the Forest manager is up there with the worst thing you've said, mate. Pat,
I haven't said that. Have I?
On socials? You sure?
Yes, that's different.
All right.
What
Okay.
did you say? Can we look into it?
So basically, what
referees?
happened last night, let's talk about it. Forest 1, Aston Villa 0. Aston Villa failing to win in the Europa League this season for only the second time. Nottingham Forest unbeaten in the last 9 matches in all competitions. That needs a shout out, by the way. They've started to come into good form at just the right time. But you're very upset about the fact that Elliot Anderson was not sent off for his challenge in the first half on Ollie Watkins. Now, look, the ref is the producer of this show.
Yep.
He thinks it's a red card. I think it's a red card. Crook's not that sure, but Unai Emery certainly was.
Huge mistake, because Ollie Watkins was close to break his ankle. He must give us one explanation about it because it's crazy. Watching the action is crazy. Of course, the referee can't watch it like me, can't watch it. But one action like that not make sense because it's so clear. It's not doubt. Where is the doubt? Where is the doubt watching the action? Where is? VR? Where is? Where is VR? Where is the referee? Wow, crazy. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, he was a little bit wild, wasn't he, towards the end of that? Did he say what is beer at the end?
No, VAR.
What is VAR? All right, okay. I couldn't work out what he was trying to say, but he was getting very, very animated. But you were also very animated last night. Mm-hmm. And you seem to think that there is some connection between the nationality of the Forest manager and the nationality of the official.
You can't
go doing that on social media and not expect us to bring it up.
No. What I said was, should we look into that? I'm not saying that's the reason, but VAR official was Portuguese, not the referee. The referee, he had a fantastic game, by the way, the ref, I thought. Maybe he didn't see that incident, but for VAR official, his name is Tiago Martins, Portuguese referee. For him to not tell the ref to come and look at the screen of that tackle, I was very disappointed in. Listen, first of all, Elliot Anderson was the best player on the pitch.
What about the nutmeg on Rodgers?
I know, that's his mate as well, and he's posted it on his socials as well. But no one can tell me that watches football week in, week out, that's not a red card. Because did he get the ball first? You can argue yes. But we've seen so many players get red cards in the last 2 years when you follow through and you hit a player like that. Watkins stayed down, the ball went out of play. How can the referee not be told to go to VAR? Baffling.
I think you're absolutely right, but I also don't think Aston Villa were good enough in the game.
Oh, 100%. I'm not making excuses for Villa's performance. Buendia, soft player, not good enough for Aston Villa. Onana, made out of straw. 26 Premier League games you played last season, missed 12 games, played 24 Premier League games this season, injured again. Whenever it's a game where it's easy, he'll throw his hands up to the whole end and celebrate and get them going. When it's a tough game, he'll come off injured. So I agree, missed chances, not good enough, but that is a red card. Let's be honest.
Is there not a party though, Gabs? You know, it's a semi-final, a showpiece occasion. Do you really want to see it ruined with a red card?
Well, the rules are the rules. Crookie, Mr. Portsmouth, Mr. Man United, and however many other teams you support. Listen, Aston Villa weren't good enough, but City from Lucas Digne. Don't know what he's doing there.
Well, someone explain to me that decision. What I don't understand is he's going towards the byline. He gives the goal basically comes from a penalty for Nottingham Forest. We're in the
don't get it, mate. 70th minute was
70th minute of the game. He's running towards his own goal line. The ball's going out of play, and for some reason he sticks his hands up in the air as he's going towards the byline.
And also, could we tell that the ball was definitely in play from the angles that we see on the TV?
The ball seems to go behind the line and it's hooked back in and it hits his hand. Now, if you have your hands in that position and it strikes you, you're going to end up giving away a penalty.
Very stupid.
But was it outside the perimeter of the playing surface?
Anyone knows.
We couldn't really tell.
But the ref went and looked at the screen for that, but didn't go for the Ollie Watkins foul. I just feel like sometimes decisions like that to not even go to the screen and check. If he goes over, it's a red card. Let's be honest, when you slow down.
Are you going to write to IFAB?
I'm not, mate. I want to write to the VAR official, but I don't know Portuguese, Sam. Do you have any Portuguese friends?
Mate,
you can translate for me?
Stick it into Google Translate.
No, I don't do it. No, but it was frustrating.
But that could be 2 years in a row where big decisions have cost you a place in the Champions League.
And also, semi-finals, this team looks like they can't, at the moment, handle the semi-finals.
Is there a problem here, actually, and you've seen Aston Villa as much as I have this season. I was there on Saturday, and they looked to me like they ran out of gas. They had run out of ideas. They looked blunt in attack. It was similar last night as well. Is there a suggestion that, they have got quite a tight little squad. Is there a suggestion that they lack that extra edge, or they've got a little bit of maybe fatigue setting into their legs at the wrong time of the season?
Possibly both. I think you're right about fatigue. I certainly think Morgan Rogers in the second half of the season has not hit the heights he did in the first, and maybe tiredness is a part of that, which could be bad news for England in the summer. But in terms of that mental edge, I'll go back to the Conference League when we all expected them to win that competition, and they lost in the semi-finals to Olympiacos. So I do think it's a pretty similar squad. Maybe you do have to start to question, have this group of players actually got it in them to get over the line and win something tangible?
Well, what I don't want to do is question them at the moment. We're halfway through. I mean, Nottingham Forest last night, there were fireworks going on after the game. And
Did that come back to haunt them?
Yeah, Villa fans are confused a bit here. It's halfway. You won 1-0 at home. Aston Villa's record at home is fantastic in Europa League.
You're already
beat
in the
Forest.
Champions League, aren't you? I mean, you don't have to worry about the league. You're 8 points clear in that competition. You'll be
Brighton going well, though.
Yeah, but Brighton 8 points behind.
There's only 4 games left. You're not going to lose all 4, are you?
No, of course, but we have got tough game, Liverpool and City to play. Big game on Sunday against Spurs, and I think this manager will go very strong. I think he's going to be that angry at that result and the performance. He's going to take it, want them to take it out on Spurs. But his players like Brendy, I watch him and I'm like, probably 90% of the time he gives the ball away. So weak on the ball. Ollie Watkins, some of his chances recently, he's got to be more clinical. He had one last night that he should have side-footed it, but he tried to use the outside of his boot. But we're halfway through a tie, Sam. That'll be electric at Villa Park next Thursday. I'm back for it to go through.
Let's get some reaction from you. 03717223344. Were you there last night? Aston Villa fans, what do you think about the return leg? Aston Villa, brilliant record at Villa Park. Won the last 4 there. Can they overturn the deficit that they picked up at the City Ground last night? And Nottingham Forest fans, what a brilliant night for your team. Did you over-celebrate at the end, or is that just the emotion coming to the fore after being out of European competition for such a long time? 03717 22 33 44. And let's talk about that red card. Is it a game changer, or do you just have to get on with it? Sometimes decisions go against you. It's how you deal with them. Villa certainly not clinical enough in front of goal last night. Do you really want to see someone sent off early in a game like that, says Natalie? How about Champions League final Tottenham versus Liverpool? Penalty in the first minute, was it? Then the exact same thing happened to Liverpool. Trent handball just waved away. That's Natalie, the Spurs season ticket holder.
I'll tell you what, Sam. If Unai Emery had saw it properly and reacted like a Diego Simeone, or the players did, I'll tell you something now. It's probably a different decision. The Villa players didn't really react.
I see Gabby Keown is having a moment, says Jim, the Forest fan.
Wow,
I don't want to make excuses for Villa losing, says Gabby. Making 10 excuses for Villa losing, says Matt in Nottingham. Jason, Gabby and Numpty, learn to play for a draw like Arsenal. You'd be in a better place now.
You know what? That's really hit me, that has, being compared to Martin Keown.
Oh, it's not the only one.
I'm going to change.
It's not the only one. Here we go. Aston Villa's Martin Keown, says Jay.
Wow, that's hit me.
Gabster, stop crying. Brilliant tackle. Contact Sport Anderson. Equals player. United.
So a bigger insult possible than being called Martin Keown?
Martin Keown was a terrific player. 03717 2233.
And a moany pundit.
Brilliant footballer, Martin Keown. Lovely guy. Wow, says Chrissy. Gabby's head is gone. You're a little bit of a hypocrite. You bang on about Arsenal fans being deluded. Lost. Your fans all say you're going to win it. You're now making excuses because you lost, because the ref is Portuguese. Karma coming back round for all the backhanded Arsenal jives. Up the Forest, says
Let's
Chrissy.
hope that the return leg, that it's all Spanish referees and VAR officials.
Yeah.
That's fair, isn't it? No? Sam?
You probably want Basque officials, don't you?
Whatever's closest to where Unai Emery was born.
03717 223344.
Whatever happened to the traditional cagey semi-final affair? The first leg of this semi-final, the highest scoring of any in Champions League history. Now, on Amazon, Vincent Kompany spoke post-match, and he tried to describe what we'd just seen.
Yeah, I would say, well, what do you want? Do you want teams that... I think you've seen a lot of good defending today. Intense duels and this, but it's just the margins are so little, and you only have two ways. So the first one is to go full, or the second one is to retreat fully. The in-between doesn't work against that level of players. The in-between doesn't work against our level of players.
Well, Vincent doesn't exactly see it as Wayne Rooney saw it. We saw some good defending. Vincent, what? Wayne Rooney, at this level, we have seen some brilliance, but we've seen some immature defending, which is crazy. He's not wrong, Dan.
There was some poor defending, yeah. But the problem you've got is when you play the way those two teams do, you're going to isolate people 1v1. And you can call it poor defending or you can just call it brilliant forward play. It's nearly impossible if you're one-on-one with someone with electric pace and good skill, because they can go both ways, to stop them. Kvaratskhelia goal, for example, or when you've got Elise one-on-one, you're in a world of trouble. So, I think rather than focus on whether there was good or bad defending, what I enjoyed most is that styles make fights. You've got two teams who think they're the best.
I don't know what it is about you. Maybe it's because you're quite contentious and you're quite happy to give out stick. But the response to your assertion that you think there's some sort of weird conspiracy going on with the officials because they're the same nationality as the Nottingham Forest ball has caught the attention of the nation.
We have to look at everything, Sam.
From Robbo, he says, 3 words for Gabby. Miles off it. What an atmosphere. We've waited for since the 80s for nights like that. Wasn't over-celebrating, just pure emotion. In real time, Anderson's tackle didn't look that bad. But seeing it in slow, I'd probably have gone for a red if it was against us. But you win some, you lose some. Big shout out to Dominguez. Terrific performance from him. That's Leonard and Chris coming back this morning. Right, okay, Alan, the Forest fan, and Ray, the Villa fan, join us now. Hello, Alan. You want to go first? You're through to Gabby Agbonlahor.
Yeah, you must have a massive box of tissues in the studio for Gabby crying so much as he has been all morning. Dear me, man.
Do you not think that's a red card, my friend?
Mate, you were played off the park last night. There were some heroes all over that park, even an Aston Villa one that I'll get to. But the Forest, Morato gets lots of stick for not being Premier League quality. He played an absolute blinder last night. Anderson, blinder. Jesus, blinder. Dominguez, they worked their socks off, especially off the ball. They were brilliant, absolutely covering every blade of grass. And Anderson, Megan, Rodgers, I mean, how great was that? Great result. And you ain't going to get it back at Villa Park, pal. You're just not. We're going to be strong. We're going to be fired up. Your day's done, mate.
And Gabby, it could have been worse actually if Emi Martinez hadn't made that wonder save from.
Fantastic save. But let's not get this twisted. Villa had chances.
They did.
Forest were a better team, but there wasn't a lot in it at times.
But they had chances against Fulham on Saturday as well. And didn't take.
Not clinical enough. But I don't know how anybody who watches football doesn't watch that tackle from Anderson and say, that could be a leg break on Ollie Watkins.
well, I think
could have ended his World Cup dreams.
It was an ankle breaker.
Exactly.
Crook, you weren't as vociferous about it being a red card, were you?
Only to wind him up. I mean, it's clearly a red card. But more importantly, I mean, you're quite confident at home, under the lights, Villa can turn this around. I'm just looking at Forest's defensive record. They've only conceded 1 goal, I think, in their last 5 games. They've not conceded 2 goals in a game since the first week in March when they drew 2-2 at Manchester City. So those stats tell you that if Forest score at Villa Park, you're in trouble.
What was the score between Forest and Villa at Villa Park this season?
3-1 Villa, wasn't it?
How long ago was that? Well, you're going back
Still
to January.
Season, though, isn't it?
That was probably 4 managers ago, wasn't it, when it comes to Nottingham Forest?
Still this season.
But that recent defensive record is good. And do you know what he's done as
Without
well?
Murillo available.
But you know what he's done, Vitor Pereira? Their run of form, 6 wins in 8, drew the other 2. It's coincided, hasn't it, with him going 2 up front? You know, getting Chris Wood fit and pairing him with Jesus.
Alex, they're a very good team. They should be nowhere near where they are at the bottom of the table. They should
Sean
be a lot
Dyche sort of poured cold water on that. When you keep changing the manager as much as you do, even if you have invested, maybe sometimes you can invest too much and you've got too many players to sort out.
Gibbs White, fantastic last night. Anderson, fantastic.
He's come into form at just the right time, but he's had to reshape the squad again, and everyone's trying to get a handle on this.
Lenkovic, Ortega in goal is top.
Maria was injured last night.
Yes.
Murata turned up and did a very, very good job.
Yeah.
Aina coming back into the team actually is sort of understated. Yeah, he missed a lot of this season. He's a very important cog in their wheel.
Hutchinson consistently performing as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's getting better and better.
I think they'll go there and get a draw, Forest.
Okay, we're going to do more calls after the break, are we? Okay, we're waffling on too long. We're getting in trouble. Tristan, the Forest fan, says, someone grab Gabby a tissue. The ref was fantastic last night. Let the game flow. Was fair for both sides. He has to come to terms with the better team winning on the night. And he's right. It's only half done. The fireworks are a celebration of a great European night, which the fans are very proud about. But don't be fooled. We are ready to finish the job at Villa Park next week. Sorry, Gabby, but Anderson won the ball. First to the ball, Watkins either needs to be quicker to the ball or get his foot out of the way. A red, not even a foul. This is men's football, says Simon. Not sure that I got the ball in 2020.
Exactly.
It's the defence anymore.
So how many tackles have we seen similar to last night where it's gone to...
it's a red card. It's a red card. Gabby gives it, can't take it, says Jill, and there's a lot of emojis there. Keep them coming, 03717 22.
Hope these guys are here next Friday. Hope they're here.
Listen.
Don't go missing, guys.
All these people that are texting us in, everybody who's getting involved today is with us every single week.
Yeah. See you next Friday when Villa win 3-1 against Crook.
Which is why Crook's keen to claim the fact that we're a big part of that SJA award.
Listen, without us
out of the studio.
Well, Sam,
Simon's going to get annoyed. He's going to send us a text message.
Well, Sam, seriously, without us on a Friday, I don't think they win the award. I think what we do on a Friday is fantastic.
Well, really, because they won it the 3 previous years and they did all right.
Yeah.
This is talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
Lincoln City celebrated their title win this weekend and decided this is the big moment to mock Spurs.
What? Oh my God! up the imps. Up the imps. Jay, Tottenham away, ole ole. That is shameless.
I don't know where to
Tottenham.
go.
Do you know that game now has been built up to something? Like,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's been a thing because of you. Because of you.
It has nothing to do with me. I'm not.
No, it is. No, it's because of you. You made it a
I'm
thing.
not playing centre off Spurs.
It's just who we are, mate.
It's not my fault you're there.
Oh, it's a killer. Oh, it's a killer. Lincoln away next season.
Mate, don't knock the imps, mate. Up the imps.
Lincoln away.
Ole, ole.
It's just killer. It is.
Can you imagine Spurs start singing Lincoln away, ole, ole?
Well, you know what? We're going to have to. Maybe we're going to have to.
No, Jay, get out of it, mate.
Do you think we'll get out of it?
Jay, I've been saying all along you'll get out of it, right? You'll find a way. I cannot... Look, it's a straight shootout between you and West Ham. Yeah. Up your hands. Straight shootout, mate.
Oh, I can't see it.
I
can't see it. I can't see it.
No, it is a straight shootout between you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but West Ham are decent.
Mate, they've been decent.
They've been all right.
Look, you picked up your first victory, right? Roberto?
Should VAR have intervened on that Elliot Anderson challenge on Ollie Watkins? Unai Emery didn't mince his words.
He could break his ankle. He could break his ankle. Wow, VAR, where are you? Please.
Emery accepted the other VAR decision, which awarded Forest the decisive penalty. The former Forest boss, Sean Dyche, told us the tie's not over at 1-0.
It's a tight one going back to Villa Park. They didn't offer as much as I thought they would, actually. Villa on the night probably should have come away with a clean sheet.
The return leg is next Thursday, live on talkSPORT. For the other English team in action last night, success again. Palace will come back to Selhurst Park next week with a 3-1 lead over Shakhtar. Here's Oliver Glasner.
Big win for us, of course, but it's just half-time. I think we defended very well today. This will give us confidence, but again, to mention it's just half-time, because I believe, honestly, we have to play better at Selhurst to get it over the goal line and go to Leipzig to the final.
Now, Declan Rice could be on thin ice after claiming the decision to overturn the penalty initially given to Eze at the Metropolitano was provoked by the fans. UEFA will assess whether he was questioning the referee's integrity. He got a 2-game ban 4 years ago for similar comments, but it wasn't handed to him until after that season. And Luke Littler's back on top of the Premier League of darts, surpassing Johnny Clayton after his 5th nightly win of the season in Aberdeen last night. Get more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. Stop picking on Gabby, says Nigel Tinman. It was a red card. VAR was a disgrace. Look, Nigel, we're not picking on Gabby. We're reading out the text messages that are coming in. We agree it's a red card. We just can't keep up with this absolute deluge of texts that are coming through for Gabby. It's off the chart. Don't change the subject, please. This is box office. Gabby, cry us a river, my old son, says Billy. Anderson, red card changes the game. He would have been suspended for the second leg too, despite Forest being the better team. That decision has changed the tie. Also, I'm not a fan of a tackle like this on a fellow England international ahead of the World Cup, says Steve in Suffolk. There is a serious point to it, isn't it? Actually, if he had been sent off, it would have changed the nature of the game, and it would have changed the second half, and it would have been advantage Aston Villa at that point.
And especially when you look at the fact that they've lost Sangare, didn't play last night. He's a big miss for Nottingham Forest.
They coped well.
Yeah, actually, probably not available for the second leg as well. So imagine no Anderson and no Sangare for the second leg. But it's just baffling in this day and age where everything goes to VAR, that the VAR official, Thiago Martins, didn't ask the referee to come over.
I did Braga-Freiburg last night. There was some odd VAR decisions in that. Michael Salisbury was the VAR in that game, and he gave a penalty which you would never give in the Premier League. Crook, listen, Nottingham Forest did get a 1-0 victory. Do you still think they're favourites for? Would you think they're now favourites to go and get through past Aston Villa? Because you didn't ever think that Nottingham Forest could beat Aston Villa in this semi-final, did you?
I fancied Villa to go through, and despite the fact I'm winding him up about their defensive record at home, they've still got a great chance. It's a narrow
in the air, isn't it?
Advantage that Forest have got. I think I said the winner would come from this side of the draw. That's not a particularly bold proclamation, but yeah, I think it's going to be a brilliant night under the lights next week.
I think as well, Forest were the better team last night. They're playing at home. That's the whole point. You use your advantage of playing at home.
Do you think that they were fueled by the fact that people said they cannot beat Aston Villa? Nobody.
Really?
I mean,
I've not said that
they can't beat Aston Villa.
Sam, I haven't said that, have I?
Yeah, you said you said they can't beat Aston Villa.
I'm not sure I said that, did I?
I think you did.
Sam, I've been saying that for the last 2 weeks. I've been saying Aston Villa fans
made Villa
play Forest.
Okay, let's hear.
In terms of the Europa League, I would make Villa favourites over the two legs, mainly because Forest have still got to really field as strong a team as possible in the Premier League, and he has been rotating in the Europa League. But I just think Villa are a better team. If you put their first 11 up against Forest, Villa will win.
What's changed, Addicks?
But I made them favourites before the tie. I think they've got a great chance of turning it around next week. I don't think that's the most out there shout. If that's the best that our award-winning producer can find, honestly, you might as well give that trophy to Drive now for next year. That's poor from you, Red.
Yeah, he was trying a little bit better to stitch you up there.
Be better.
Forest should have been the best team last night. They're playing at home advantage. Their fans were fantastic last night. Now Villa have got to do the same. It would be a great atmosphere at Villa Park, electric.
It's all about the first goal, isn't it?
Exactly. Aston Villa have to get the first goal. Yep.
Absolutely, yeah. And listen, the goalkeeper's going to play a big part, as they did last night, Ortega and Martinez. Stop picking on Gabby. They said, here's Ray the Villa fan to come to his aid. Hello, Ray. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Ray. Thanks, mate.
Hiya, Gabby.
I'm okay, man. Need a bit of help, mate. Thank you.
Earning some boy like yourself.
Yes.
I just want to talk about that last Forest caller. Old Robin of Sherwood. I think he was fictional as well. Basically saying that Forest played us off the park last night. It was a very, very tight game. Forest was slightly the better team. And it was, a game of real fine margins. Crookie just said, Villa have got the better 11. I also think at this stage they've got the better bench. And Villa Park next week is full to the rafters.
But Ray, don't you think though Villa have to be more clinical because they're missing too many chances, aren't they?
Like you did, Gab.
I know, mate. That was me every week, weren't it?
He's supposed to be coming on to help you out.
Ray, come on.
I love Gabby. But, yeah, I think we have got to be more clinical. I think Watkins sometimes, he hasn't got that ice going through his veins when he's in front of goal. But I've just got a great feeling about next week because it is a semi-final. Villa Park will be buzzing.
No, there'll be some atmosphere there, won't there? I mean, the only problem I think we've got with Aston Villa at the moment is the fact that they've just sort of dried up in front of goal, and they do go through these spells. And I was watching the game against Fulham, and I was talking to one of the other sort of local reporters who was saying what they do in games is they sometimes rest with the ball, save a little bit of energy. But I think when they slow the tempo of the game down in a big match like this, where you really need to go hell for leather right from the very start, I just wonder whether or not they can just keep turning it on and off like a tap.
Yeah, and I think that's Emery's way. I think we like to invite Forest onto us like we were doing last night. And I thought the plan was going well. Obviously, our goalie, which nobody's really mentioned this morning, made an absolute world-class save.
Oh, we mentioned it. We mentioned it right at the top because it was absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
Ray, have you got any concerns if the officials are Portuguese again next week? Because Gabby's worried about
that. No, not really. And it's like Gabby said, it's the VAR, and our manager never moans about referees.
Yes.
He never moans. And he said that the referee had a great game.
He did.
But how can the VAR look at that and say it's not a red? And it could be massive in the tie.
Gabby, you've got to get over it now because it's his whole second leg to come live on talkSPORT next Thursday.
Thank you, Ray.
Cheers, Ray. Thank you very much. He almost tried to come to your aid there, Gabby, but still had a little bit of a jibe. Gabby upset about being compared to Keown. 5 laughy emojis from one texter. I bet you wouldn't mind Keown's trophies. Fair point.
Trophies don't pay the bills, mate.
I'm sure they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I'm sure if you
I would swap trophies for... Yeah, I would. Yeah.
The West Wing.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Correct.
Don't pay your bills, mate.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the best karma for Gabby. Villa bottled the league in December. Now they've bottled it in the Europa League in April, and I'm loving it, says Courtney. Oh, that's not very nice, is it?
Not nice, Courtney. Not nice.
Simon in Warrington. If I had to choose between Morgan Gibbs-White and Rodgers, I'm taking Morgan Gibbs-White, and I'm a Liverpool fan. And do you know what's really interesting is just how much Thomas Tuchel has not fancied Morgan Gibbs-White.
He has to fancy him now.
He called him up and never played him. And
He
then
has
when he
to.
has played him, he's never really given him enough minutes to get on the ball, has he?
He has to.
He's been spectacular for Nottingham Forest.
If Foden or Palmer picked for this World Cup before him, I don't know what's going on, because he's giving numbers now as well. And last night even, some of the little touches. There was one where he let it through his legs, ran around the defender and got it. He's a top player, and he should be in a 26-man World Cup squad.
Okay, let's rattle through some calls because we've got loads of them. So let's get through as many as possible. Mark
next
is a Forest fan. Mark, give us your 30-second take on what you want to say to Gabby Agbonlahor.
I just want to say to Gabby, don't cry over spilt super box. You know, I mean that's ridiculous. Saying it. I mean listen, I love tackles like that. That's a great challenge last night. From where I was sitting,
What if he breaks Ollie Watkins' leg?
He's not trying to hurt Ollie. It's his teammate in England. He's not trying to hurt him.
It's not about what you want to do. Sometimes players don't mean to injure somebody, but it's a red card and a bad tackle.
He was playing the ball. He was playing. I love tackles like that. That's the way I used to play the game.
No, man, very dangerous. I used to hate them.
I know the game's moved on. But that's a great challenge, and it would have ruined the game last night if you'd have took him out of the game. He was the best player on the park. He's immense. That man, to watch him live, he's immense.
Oh, he's a top player. But it's not about ruining the game. It's about the right decision.
And by the way, it's worth pointing out that he's been through his own personal tragedy in the last couple of weeks.
100%.
And he's had a terrible time. But he still turned up and produced a performance like that last night, which was 100%. Audacious, creative, sensational.
But that's like saying the Digne handball. Oh, there's no point giving that as a penalty. Ruin the game. You know the ball's out. You can't tell that the ball's in. Like, at the end of the day, Anderson, dangerous tackle. You can't tackle like that in 2026.
Mark, very quickly, do you win it?
Yeah, we do. No problem.
Good luck to you. We'll see you on Thursday. Thank you very much.
Speak to you Friday morning, mate.
Daniel is a Villa fan. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Daniel.
Good. What do you want to say to Gabby Agbonlahor?
How long have you got? Gabby, what is the point of a bench at Villa Park? Why do we never put the bench on? Why do we buy Tammy? Do you know?
Yeah. What would you have done different last night? Would you brought Tammy on? Who for?
Ollie.
You would have brought him on for Ollie last night.
Diddley Squatkins has scored a few goals recently, but he's terrible. Let's be frank about it. The chances he's had, the side foot last night, my 10-year-old could have scored. Why did we buy Tammy in January? He's played minutes. He's really got to come on in the second leg. I think we'll still win because we're at Villa Park, we're at home, but we have to bring... Even the Liverpool kid that's not played all season, we can play him in Europe. Even he's not on the pitch. Buendia's a million miles away. He gets knocked off the ball. He's fouling.
So frustrated, mate. Even last night, I think there was 2 times where just a little pass into Rodgers, and Rodgers probably goes through and scores. The weight of the pass is wrong. That's what you're in the team to do. So light on the ball.
He lost the ball 26 times against Fulham, Rodgers. I love Rodgers. Someone's give us 100 million this summer. Absolutely take the money, but he needs a rest or kick up the you-know-what.
Interesting. He's 7 goals in his last 10 games for Ollie Watkins since he was left out of the England squad. He has started to put the ball in the back of the net again recently, but he has missed chances, and he's missed chances this season. This season has not been a stellar campaign. 15 goals for his club, which is unlike him. What's the problem?
Listen, he's been in great form recently, but I've always said this, and I say to Villa fans, Sam and Alex, if Ollie Watkins was as clinical as maybe Villa fans want him to be, he would have left 2 years ago. Arsenal probably would have paid the extra money for him and signed him.
That's a bit harsh giving him a derogatory nickname, though. He's one of only 11 players in Villa's history
I don't agree with that.
100 goals.
I don't agree with that nickname, but Ollie Watkins has been in great form recently since that disappointment not making the last England squad. But he's always going to miss chances. That's just Ollie Watkins. But
he's always going to score goals. It wouldn't
surprise me if he scores the winner next Thursday.
And he's a big game player. He proved that for England at the Euros.
Well, that moment will live long in the memory no matter what happens. Come on, Gabby. Always looking for excuses, says Stephen. Villa were well beaten. Take it on the chin. Villa need to step up and win on merit, not be helped by officials. Small club mentality. Gabby, chill out. Stop trying to figure it all out. Still a second leg to play. None of this ultimately matters until the final whistle in the next leg. Draw your conclusions then. Only one goal in it, says Mark. Mikey says, hey guys, great show, as always. Although I didn't realise you were getting a new pundit with you today. Welcome to the show, Gabby Keown. Was never a red card. Proper old school. Crunching tackle. Stop moaning, mate. That's from Mike the trucker from Milton
Sam, can you
Keynes.
please not read out anyone that calls me Keown again, please, because it really doesn't feel good, mate.
To be compared to Martin Keown, you should be privileged. Gabby is an Arsenal fan. Hello.
Morning, Crookie. Morning.
Oh, no, not you.
Honestly, I'm glad to know the only person he's replied to on Twitter this morning. Who do you think it is?
A guy called Gabby.
Right.
Did he think he was talking to himself?
No, he just I said laughing faces. Very little, and he bit guys. He bit.
What do you want, Gabby? Go on.
Listen, I'm up here, and I've got to say, my friend Wayne Keep is a sweeper driver, forest driver. I'm looking at him in a tarmac hole at the minute working. He said to me, "There's fireworks at the end of every game in Europe, mate. It just weren't for you. Don't think you're that big, bruv. Come on." That's the first thing.
This is why no one likes Arsenal fans, because this guy. Go on, carry on.
Listen, and he also said as he's driving a sweeper and he can mop up water and tears, he's going to head down from Lincoln to the talkSPORT studios and he's going to get all them tears that you're crying and mop them up.
He needs a big truck, Gabby. He needs a big truck.
It's 18 ton, gents. I think we've got enough. It might get Gabby's tears in there, lads. But honestly, in all fairness...
Red card for you, Gabby, or not? Or if that was on one of your players, if that was on...
It was a reckless tackle, but what we're finding is what we're finding in Europe, gents, and I know you all agree on this, it's inconsistency, and we're getting it in every single match. We had it PSG the other night, we had it with Arsenal, and we had it with Villa last night. The inconsistencies...
What was inconsistent in the Arsenal game?
Nationality, Gabs.
What was inconsistent in the Arsenal game, Brav?
The penalty shouldn't have been overturned, should it?
He dived?
Wasn't a clear and obvious mistake?
No, he dived.
No.
Is that enough contact? A big, strong lad like Eze to go rolling around?
Stop deflecting. The fact that we're talking Aston Villa this morning. You've had your say on the previous game. I heard you yesterday on breakfast.
I don't think it was a penalty, guys. I really don't. Yeah. Honest.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my opinion, Sam.
Well,
is he still there?
Or not?
Is he still there, Gabby?
Matter. What matters is that they gave it and it was overturned, which it should never have been because it wasn't a clear and obvious error.
If you do lose next week, if you go out next week, are you going to give Forest any credit, or are you going to latch on to this big decision in the first leg?
100% we'll give them credit. Yeah. I thought they were fantastic last night, and after been saying it for the last 2 weeks, I'm nervous for this game. This is closer than what people think, and because they're great form in the league, they were able to play the strongest team last night, and next Thursday they can play.
How much of a disappointment would it be if we come here next Friday and you're out of the Europa League, you've lost to Tottenham, and you're finding yourself struggling to hold on to fifth position?
Disaster. And top 5 is fantastic for the club, for the financials it brings, but for the fans and for the manager, not winning Europa League is an absolute disaster because... Like I said many times, 1996 is.
But also, you had third place at least locked off earlier in the season.
Of course. Listen, it's not a disappointment in the sense of top 5 Champions League football, amazing, ahead of Chelsea. Look at the money Chelsea spent compared to Villa. But this Europa League was the one that we're looking at, favourites all the way through. And to lose to a Nottingham Forest side that have been in a relegation battle, that's probably a bit more the embarrassing part of it.
03717223344. You can text us 81089.
No.
Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa were the only teams in European action last night. Crystal Palace won by 3-1. We'll talk about that at some point this morning. We also want to hit some of these points in the game that we haven't really quite got into yet, which we'll try and do between now and 11 o'clock. This is talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
Scott Parker has left his position as head coach of Burnley by mutual consent. The statement says, following confirmation of the club's relegation, Parker and the board held discussions and mutually agreed that his time at Turf Moor would conclude. And the club would like to thank Scott for what he has done, etc., etc. The thing is, we've still got a few games to go, and it would appear that Scott is going now, which is rather strange, is it not? Why not wait out the rest of the season?
What's the point? I mean, if the decision has been made, what's the point of hanging around? The die has been cast, the agenda has been set. Whether it's a combination of mutual or one person has jumped faster than the other one pushed, who knows? But if you've made a decision, there's no point sticking around. The club's been relegated. You might find a few people having a few choice words to say to the manager at the back end of the season because they're disappointed with the club's relegation. Why subject him to that? Why subject yourself to that? Because I think there is a little bit of disquiet about some of the performances from certain sections of the Burnley fans. If I read the room right, if I'm wrong, I'll be happy to be corrected.
Okay.
But Scott Parker can leave with no worse a job than, say, Vincent Kompany did. I am disappointed that I thought they would be more competitive insofar as I care about Burnley, but I thought that they would be more competitive because they came up in such a way with such a robust and resilient defence that seems to have completely evaporated as they've got into the Premier League. And it's often easier to be destructive than it is to be constructive. The best players are the ones that score goals, and they're the ones that are most difficult to buy. The ones that can stop you from scoring goals are slightly easier.
talkSPORT, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook, and the Gab father, who is very upset this morning.
But Sam,
moaning and whinging.
Even though I am upset, what have I just done? I've said I'll get the coffees.
You did.
And what I've told all the staff is, they can have whatever size coffees they want.
Okay, not a thimble like when Crook
Because last week, Crookie made sure everyone had a tiny, tiny coffee.
Yeah. Outrageous. Okay, Chris Wood, how important is he to the success of Nottingham Forest? He's come back at just the right time. Just very quickly, let's rattle through these.
Yeah, massively. I've got to say it was a brilliant penalty, wasn't it? A pressure penalty, and he never looked like missing.
In terms of the defence, how many of those will be back for next week? I suppose Maria's not going to make it.
I don't think Marino will make it, but Morata was fantastic. Milenkovic is always strong. What they done well was Watkins, whenever the ball's played up to him, they won it first, didn't they? Too physical for him.
In terms of the squad depth as well, we were a little bit worried about Aston Villa's squad depth next season when they're playing Champions League football again. They're going to require a little bit more. Have they got the money to spend on that?
And as well, Sam, Aston Villa 2 weeks ago fielded their oldest starting 11 since 2001, I think it was. I think it was nearly 30 years old. So they need to get younger players in. And they might have to sell someone as well.
He was absolutely furious after the game. Are we slightly worried that he's getting a little bit too tense, Unai Emery? Can that transmit to the players?
Maybe, yeah. And it goes back to what I was saying about that Olympiacos semi-final. Maybe when the pressure's really on, they're being found wanting a little bit. But then you look at his record in European competition, and this competition in particular.
But they have to turn up, right? Because they didn't turn up against Olympiacos in the semi-final. FA Cup semi-final against Crystal Palace didn't turn up.
Really poor.
Last night, you could say some players didn't turn up. If they don't turn up next Thursday,
didn't turn up against Fulham on Saturday.
Villa fans are going to start thinking like, have this group of players got the cojones to get over the line.
He is eyeing silverware for the first time in 4 years in charge at Villa Park. Will it be the perfect springboard for more if he gets over the line? The man standing in his way is Vitor Pereira, and his Forest side deserve a lot of credit for last night's performance.
In half time, we know that we'll face another tough game. But one thing I'm sure that we go there to compete again, not to defend, but to win the game. This is the spirit of this team, a special team. A honor for me, a privilege for me to be the manager, because they have the character, they have the quality, they have the personality. Facing four managers in the same season, it's not easy to be in this moment of the season, in the end of the season, and to compete in this level.
Unbeaten in 9 since the 12th of March, when they lost 1-0 in the second leg of the game against Midtjylland, a game that they'd a game that they ended up coming back from and winning. During the course of that, 3 draws, 6 wins for Vitor Pereira. They've hit form at just the right time. They've won 4 in a row, Gabby, and they've conceded 1 goal during that period. He says he's not going to defend when he comes to Villa Park.
I think he should.
He's going attack, because that is the spirit of the team. Is that the best form of defence?
Well, I think last night they didn't attack. I think they attacked it in stages, and when they needed to defend, they defended very well. And I think it'll be the same tactics for both teams in the second leg. Aston Villa had chances. I know they're doing very well at the moment defensively, Nottingham Forest. But you look at the Watkins chance. There was a couple from Rodgers. Tielemans had one late on. Villa will create chances, just got to be more clinical. But Nottingham Forest, fantastic. And imagine a scenario where they stay up and they win the Europa League and they're playing Champions League football next season. Does that mean like the likes of Gibbs White aren't looking for a move next season because you're playing Champions League football with your club?
No Sangare, no Hudson-Odoi, no Murillo yesterday. He's done a very good job, hasn't he, Vitor Pereira? He's good short-term sort of focuser of attention, I think. Gabby coming up with excuses, starting to sound like Arsenal. Next, he'll say the pitch was too dry, the grass was too long. Says Josh, you should get some pastel de natas to go with those coffees. I think they're Portuguese, says Matt in Nottingham.
I'm going to Portugal again. Spain's a better place.
Aren't you supposed to be going to the Algarve?
I'm meant to be going to the Algarve in 2 weeks.
They're going to reject your visa.
I need to change my flights. Mallorca's better anyway.
Oh dear. We need to talk Crystal Palace as well, because they did a brilliant job last night. They didn't play particularly well. Crookmeister was doing the game. You weren't too impressed with them, were you, in the first half? But they got the job done. They scored the fastest goal in Conference League history as well. And they are 90 minutes away from a Conference League final, which will be live on talkSPORT from Leipzig at the end of the month. Very much looking forward to that. We'll get into it next on talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
Frank, I want to move on to a player that you give his debut for Chelsea, Reece James. How important is he for Chelsea and also for the World Cup in the summer?
Yeah, Reece, what an incredible player, an incredible lad. I've been really pleased with how he's taken to the captaincy there as well, because I think from afar, I feel like I've seen him grow into that position, because he was always quite a quiet lad, Reece. Kept his thoughts to himself, but when you did speak to him, he was very articulate. But the quality level, Gabby, I mean,
when I first went to Chelsea, I had a good understanding of the academy because of the lads that were working with me. But to see his talent levels, I mean, I've never seen someone who gets a 70-yard crossfielder and just brings it down in his chest and then can do whatever he wants to the ball. It's a really incredible technique. But his whole game that he's got now, pace and power and the quality levels. So, yeah, massively important for Chelsea. You see that when he's not playing. He's managed to play more regularly this season, which has been great, but obviously out recently. And, yeah, without picking Thomas's squad for him or his team, I think Reece James is one of the best right backs in the world, without a doubt. And want to see him fit and playing again because he's a special player.
So how do you rate our chances at the World Cup, Frank?
Well, I think we've got a good chance, but there's a lot of other good teams in it. This is the age-old question I get about why we didn't win World Cups as a group from my generation. And part of the answer is because France, Spain, Germany were all really, really good too. And, so there are other teams that will be there competing, going over to America with the conditions that.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good morning, it's 11 o'clock. Here are your sports headlines, and talkSPORT's brand new pundit Gabby Agbonlahor is staunchly defending Unai Emery's lambasting of the VAR last night, but insists ultimately there can be no excuses for Villa's performance at the City ground.
Buendia, soft player, not good enough for Aston Villa. Onana, whenever it's a game where it's easy, he'll throw his hands up to the whole end and celebrate and get them going. When it's a tough game, he'll come off injured. So I agree, missed chances, not good enough.
Meanwhile, talkSPORT understands Craig Bellamy is reluctant to leave the Wales job to go back to Burnley as Scott Parker's successor. Stephen Gerrard is another candidate who's been much talked about, and Sean Dyche told us he'd understand why a figure of his stature would be keen.
I do think there'll be money available. I do think they'll retain some good players there. Certainly, with all due respect, Championship players who know the Championship, who can do the job in the Championship, and they might bounce back stronger.
Sheffield Wednesday, meanwhile, should have a new owner by today. US businessman David Storch has flown over, but his £20 million takeover would still mean the Owls start next season in League One on minus 15 points. And speaking of owners, Eddie Howe's recently met with his from Saudi and says he's confident that both he and the club retain their backing.
Yeah, I mean, no change in terms of the support and the infrastructure and how people are working. So, yeah, I was pleased by the level of support given to me, but of course still understanding of how football works and know that we need to get results, so that will never change.
And Arne Slot says Alisson is nearly back in training while Milos Kerkez is dealing with a slight issue but should still be fit to face Man United on Sunday. There's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
A man's been charged following the double stabbing of two Jewish men in North London, and private landlords could face fines of up to 40 grand if they evict tenants without a valid reason. More with Emma at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Saw your new tyres this spring at a time that suits you best, from the comfort of your home or work 7 days a week with our mobile tyre fitting service. Conditions apply.
Warmer than Hawaii today in parts of the UK, but some showers will move eastwards throughout the afternoon, affecting Western England and Scotland.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's Friday. It's Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Keown. We're here through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. I'm pleased that nickname started to take on.
I don't like it, mate.
So much of a resonance, even the news.
I don't like it. I'm going to stop moaning now. So all the not Forest fans, I'll stop annoying you now.
See what he's done there?
Yeah.
That was a little. That, do you know what? That was a bit Elliot Anderson, just above the ankle. That you said not Forest.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Sorry.
He's
not Nottingham Forest.
He's got his notes here, by the way, as he always does. He always prepares.
And you always read them.
He's got here that Spurs have more ACL tears than home wins. That's one of his great stats.
It's called prep, mate.
Yeah, and then he just wrote 10 times, I hate Portuguese officials. I hate Portuguese officials. I hate Portuguese.
Algarve is overrated.
I hate
Lisbon, don't go there. Not a good place.
I tell you what, Oliver Glasner is in a good mood this morning after their victory in Krakow against Shakhtar Donetsk last night. Crystal Palace have got 1 foot and a couple of toes in the Conference League final. Good performance, or was it just getting the job done?
Do you know what? It was a strange game because they've got 1-0 up after 21 seconds. Ismail Assar, who I think is going to be on the radar of a lot of big clubs this summer, with a brilliant finish. 20 minutes into the game, they'd had 16 passes. 16 passes after 20 minutes. Shakhtar dominated possession, got a deserved equaliser a couple of minutes after half-time, and that almost woke Palace up because for 5-10 minutes, then they went for the jugular, they got the second goal, and then Jurgen Strand-Larsen, who's not exactly been full of goals since he came in as a record signing, it was a brilliant finish from him to realistically take the tie away from Shakhtar. You can't see them turning around a 2-goal deficit at what's going to be a sold out and expectant Selhurst Park next week.
Absolutely. But on Ismail Assar, scoring after 21 seconds, being absolutely superb in the Europa League. I saw him score early in the game against Fiorentina. I was in Florence with them a couple of weeks ago. But they've got to keep hold of him, haven't they? Because we're in a situation with Crystal Palace where players come in, they do a really good job, and then all of a sudden they end up going elsewhere. Look at what Michael Olise has done at Bayern Munich. He's been absolutely terrific. Actually, Wilfried Zaha is probably the last of those big Palace stars that didn't go on and then take his career to the next level. Eze has left the club, gone on playing for Arsenal in the Champions League. You've got Mateta that could have gone to AC Milan in January if his medical had been slightly different. We've got to get out of this habit, haven't we, with Crystal Palace? Otherwise, we're going to find themselves in a bit of a sticky patch.
Isn't it wages, though, as well, Crookie? What Crystal Palace can pay?
Yeah, of course. We know that they're quite a frugal football club. They are a selling club. There's no question about that. I expect Adam Wharton to depart this summer.
But they can't all depart.
No.
Crook.
And
you can't keep selling every
No, you can't. I agree. Although I've got to say, and I mentioned it in commentary last night, I think since Mark Gay departed, Maxence Lacroix has been sensational. He really has stepped up as the leader of that back three.
Yeah, I mean, not just since then, actually. He played well at the beginning of the season. He actually had a real odd wobble in the first 6 months it was at Crystal Palace. And everyone was sort of like, why did they switch Anderson for this guy that's played with Glasner at Wolfsburg? But actually, you know, he knew exactly what he was doing, Glasner, and bringing Lacroix into the team.
You know, we talk about, he's been a fantastic...
Richards has been very good as well, by the way.
You know, we talk about they're a selling club, but surely some Crystal Palace fans are out there and like, won the FA Cup, won the Community Shield, could win the Conference League, could be playing Europa League football next season. Imagine if they invested. Where could they go from there?
They've also got to be a little bit careful, haven't they? Because what they don't want to do is what Leicester City did, is end up spending too much money, not getting their recruitment right, and then finding themselves in League One, 5-6 years later.
I don't think Steve Parish and spending too much money really going the
No, and I think it probably should be congratulated because they spent just £12.5 million on Ismail Assar from Marseille. Now, we all thought he was brilliant when he was at Watford.
Top player.
He was clearly a very good talent. Went off to Marseille. They sold him back to the Premier League for £12.5 million. That is one of the bargains of the last 10 years, isn't it?
He's got everything, hasn't he? Rapid. He always does well against Aston Villa. Quick. But his finishing is improved at Crystal Palace. Every game you watch him, you're like, yep, he's turned into a clinical goal scorer as well.
The one they've got to get right is obviously the manager, because if they win this competition, and I think they're favourites to win it, for those behind the glass, I think Palace will go on and win this Conference League. That just rubber stamps him, doesn't he? Glasner is their best ever manager after what he did last season. So they've got to get this appointment right. And there's a lot of talk about Andoni Iraola. I think they feel that maybe that's not realistic at this stage, that he's going to go on to a bigger club.
He Bournemouth to Palace.
Frank Lampard is someone they admire, but again, he
Did you ask him that on breakfast?
Settled at Coventry.
Didn't want to ask him, mate. Didn't want to upset.
Didn't want to ask him a proper question. That's why he was on breakfast and not on this show.
Didn't want to ask him, Alex. But I think the job he's done at Coventry, and he'll be excited to take them into the Premier League. But Palace, what a job for a manager to have, though.
Well, especially if they do get in the Europa League.
If they get to Europa League, they're going to have to bolster the squad, because one of the things that Glasner's been brilliant at this season, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when we did them on a Monday Night Football against West Ham, was that I think, actually, despite the fact that he got a little bit of stick off you, actually, when they played Coops.
Yes, I remember that, Alex.
For changing the team and losing that game, he has managed the squad brilliantly over the course of the season. Now, I think that's going under the radar. You can't do that every single campaign. If you're going to lose another 2 or 3 players in the summer, you're not going to be able to manage Europa League football and Premier League football the way they've done it this season. So there definitely needs to be some investment if they end up getting into the Europa League, which I think we all envisage them to do. Rayo Vallecano beat Strasbourg last night by 1-0. Very tight game. Could be either one of those 2 teams that end up going through to the Conference League final and playing Crystal Palace in Leipzig, which will be live.
Well, that Palace starting lineup is a strong team. You can see why they have been favourites and they will go on to win the Conference League, just like Forest and Villa being one of the favourites for the Europa League.
Shout out to Daichi Kamada as well. First goal since October 2024 when he scored against Aston Villa, actually, in a League Cup tie. But he's been a big part of their midfield. And I think if you go into
a bit of talk about him leaving in the summer as well.
Go back to the FA Cup semi-final of last year, and he was in midfield with Wharton. They started the game together. And if you had asked a Crystal Palace fan 6 weeks before that whether Kamada would be in the starting 11, they would have said no. But actually, since that sort of run in towards the end of last season, he has cemented his place in the team.
Yeah, he has, and he's become a real fan's favourite as well. But there's good players all over the pitch. You know, Munoz was excellent. Tyreek Mitchell nursing an Achilles injury, I think goes under the radar. I think he's unlucky that he's not talked about more in terms of England contention. Mitchell, Henderson, captain, in talks over a new contract. We reported that on the talkSPORT notebook this week. So, yeah, they've got a decent squad.
They're in a good place, aren't they?
Yeah, but as I say, it's all about this managerial appointment.
Yes.
They've got to get that right.
Are you surprised there's not more talk about who's going to come in? Look at Bournemouth. Iriola said he's leaving, and then they've got the replacement ready already.
They've got their man, haven't they, Crystal Palace?
Yeah, I spoke to someone there a week or so ago, and the expectation is they appoint before that final.
Okay.
So I think they're quite a way down the line.
Okay, good.
Interesting. I wonder who Crystal Palace fans want. 03717223344. It does make it look a little bit of a fast, though, if they get into the Europa League, that Glasner's leaving. Also, if Andoni Iraola leaves Bournemouth and they get in the Champions League, can he sort of like say, oh, sorry, can I come back?
I said that to you just, didn't I? If Aston Villa win the Europa League and finish in 5th position, 6th gets Champions League, and look at that race. And Crystal Palace have got a say in it. Crystal Palace play Bournemouth, Everton and Brentford before they play Arsenal. Last game of the season.
You'd be back in Bournemouth, wouldn't you, on Sunday?
Yes.
It'll rest everybody, Gladys, surely.
By the way, we haven't mentioned the fact that Nottingham Forest play Monday at 3 o'clock.
I think that's great. I think it's great, mate. And maybe West Ham and Spurs have won by then, so it's tight in a relegation battle. They might have to go full strength against.
So you're cheering on? Are you cheering on Tottenham on Sunday?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
You sure?
No.
God, dear.
I'm happy for West Ham to get.
You're changing your mind more than he does, which is quite something. 03717223344. Strange saying we play poor. Game plan work to a T. Sit back and counter, says Rich. Andy says, morning lads, great show. Do you think Glasgow can make a U-turn and stay at Palace beyond this season? Is there any chance of that?
I don't think so. Not from the conversations that I've had.
Okay, 03717222344. We're going to talk about that big game at the bottom of the table. Tottenham in action on Sunday night, live on talkSPORT. We kick off at 7 o'clock on Sunday away at Villa Park. Tottenham at Villa Park. Looking forward to doing that with Charlie Adam, who's going to be part of our commentary team on Sunday. So make sure you join us.
Did Gabby not get
for that one?
No?
You can come, Gab, if you want.
No, guys, listen. I'm just going to concentrate on next Thursday.
You're going to be there? You're
going to go to that one?
Are you going
to go to that one?
If I can get a ticket, yeah, it's very difficult.
If you can get a ticket?
Difficult to get a ticket, mate. They're not great with ex-players, Aston Villa.
Well, they probably look after the ones who are decent.
Yeah, true. Maybe I wasn't good enough, yeah. You know that little dig out there, you know? Might get a ticket now, so...
When we come back, we'll be talking about West Ham and Tottenham. Is it a 2-horse race to stay in the Premier League?
Rudy Gested's got a ticket.
Bosco Balaban.
Eric Jemba-Jemba's got a ticket as well.
Great player.
This is talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
It's not the first time that Jack's been caught up in off-field issues, if you can call this an off-field issue. Way back in March 2020, during the first COVID-19 lockdown, he was involved in an incident in Solihull, a car crash, 24 hours after urging fans to stay home on social media. He ended up pleading guilty to careless driving at the time. He was fined over £80,000. He was handed a 9-month driving ban after the incident. A year later, after a 7-0 win over Leeds, Pep Guardiola was said to be unhappy with the condition of both Foden and Grealish, turning up at a training session and not in the best of condition. After their treble win, we know that Jack Grealish was lionised by a certain section of the general public. He was on a bit of a drinking bender, but Pep seemed to be quite relaxed about it. If you fast forward to March 2025, he was spotted in Newcastle following an FA Cup win. He visited a social club in Washington near Newcastle on a Sunday. He was described as a total gentleman by locals. He posed for photographs, but then when he left the pub, he seemed somewhat unsteady on his feet. He looked a bit worse for wear. And Pep ultimately was asked about that and the sequence of events that led up to that.
They know what they have to do. So day off is day off. It's no training. They are a private life. They will do whatever they want. I'm not going to control what they do in the private life. So I judge what I have to see with the pitch, the training sessions, and the performance in the game. That's what I judge the players.
Good morning, still morning, isn't it? 18 minutes past 11. It's Friday. It's Sam Matterface with Alex Crook and the Crookmeister and the Gabfather today. We're here till 1 o'clock. On Sunday, we've got Aston Villa against Tottenham. It's live and exclusive commentary for the Premier League. I'll be there with Charlie Adam on Sunday night. And it's a big game for Tottenham. I mean, looking at the table, it's not that big a game for Aston Villa, is it? Let's be honest. They're not going to lose every game between now and the end of the season. And Brighton and Bournemouth and Chelsea are certainly not going to win every game between now and the end of the season to get above them in the Premier League. So Champions League football probably is short.
Still think you go strong, though.
So well, I doubt it. So Tottenham at the bottom of the table. Is it a good chance for them to beat Aston Villa, Crook?
Maybe. Might depend on what West Ham do. The game I'm at with Alan Pardew tomorrow at Brentford. I know they've got a terrible record there, but if they win it, they go 5 points clear of the bottom three. That puts a heck of a lot of pressure on Spurs going into Sunday. Obviously, they've lost Xavi Simons to a really unfortunate injury. Dominic Solanke might not play again this season. I think if you'd asked Roberto De Zerbi when he came in, who are going to be your most important players between now and the end of the campaign, he'd have picked out his captain, Christian Romero. Probably played his last game for Spurs. He'd have picked out Xavi Simons as having that bit of magic in midfield. And he'd have picked out Dominic Solanke to lead the line. So, yeah, I think it's really difficult with the number of injuries they've got. And I'm just not sure I saw enough from that win against Wolves to make me change my mind that Tottenham will stay up.
And it's difficult to lean on someone like James Maddison, who's only just back sat on the bench last week. Not going to be able to have too much of an impact in the final 4 games of the season, Gav.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for Maddison. I'm sure as a player, I know what it's like. You're itching to get involved, but the physios might be saying, no, you don't want to do anything silly. If Spurs had a full-strength side, I would say they would get a result against Aston Villa, because I do think he might make a few changes. Unai Emery, players maybe saving themselves a bit for a big semi-final. But when I look at the available players they've got, Sam and Alex, I'm looking at them and I'm like, they're 3 attacking players, Richarlison, Tell and Rouhani. Rouhani's got 1 goal, 1 assist. Tell, 3 goals, 0 assists. Richarlison scores 9 goals, but a lot of them right on in the season. That isn't a scary attacking lineup if you're Aston Villa on the weekend.
Yeah. You've been delving into the numbers about the injuries as well, haven't you?
Yeah, so many injuries. I think it's 10 injuries, isn't it? And the availability for the weekend, and you look at Spurs squad and you say Kingsley, Austin, Van der Ven, Dragerson, Porro, Danso, Spence, Souza, Maddison, Gallagher, Basuma, Paulinho, Bentancur, Gray, Bergvall, Richarlison, Tell and Rouhani. That's the availability they've got for the weekend. I don't look at that squad of players and think they can stay in the Premier League.
But can you see a game plan where they manage to eke over the line? Because that's the job, really, isn't it? You know, you've got to get 3 points somehow on Sunday. Aston Villa are involved in a massive semi-final in European competition. Haven't been playing particularly well the last couple of games. So there is every chance that Tottenham can go there and spoil that match and then nick a goal.
They have to. They have to look at this game and say, their eyes, even as the manager might not be, the players that are playing might be thinking, listen, I want to be fit for this big game on Thursday.
And you can tell that about Aston Villa last week, because he gave it the big one in the press conference. The Premier League is the most important thing. The Premier League is the most important thing.
Like you said, 8 points is a big gap.
It's a huge gap.
If you're Spurs, you're like, you want games against teams that really aren't fighting for something in that game. You look at West Ham, going to be tough against Brentford. Brentford can finish in the Champions League.
They've stopped winning, though, Brentford, haven't they? I mean, they're a difficult team to beat, but
they played well.
The wins have dried up. And they did play well on Monday.
They can pick you back up, can't they? But if you're Spurs, like you says, can you figure out a plan? Is it Bergvall, Gray, Bentancur in the middle? Or is it 2 up front? Is it a different formation, Sam? Is it to frustrate Villa?
A long time
is it
to think about it as well.
Press Villa high, because that'll give you a chance? Or is it to sit back and play on the counter-attack? But I'll just look at their options. Richarlison, Rouhani and Tell. That's not a scary front three.
Do we still think it's a straight fight between West Ham and Tottenham? Or are we now in a situation where we're not 100% convinced that even Newcastle United are 100% safe? Leeds, Forest,
they're not, are they?
West Ham, Tottenham.
Are we predictions, Newcastle can be caught, can't they, Crookie?
They can, with you bearing in mind you've given Tottenham about 50 points in their last 4 games. Again, when you look at Spurs, that was their first win of the calendar year. Now, I've looked at their fixtures. I think they can potentially beat Leeds, because I think Leeds will secure safety tonight. Everton on the last day, who knows what they're going to be playing for. Chelsea away, historically, is a difficult game for Spurs. Are they going to get to 40 points, Tottenham? Are they going to win 2 out of their last 4? I don't think so. I really don't. I think if West Ham...
They'll win 2 out of the last 4.
I think so, yeah.
I don't think they will. I think 1 win will be enough for West Ham. I think we've obviously debated a lot about the points. I said 36. It might be a little bit more than that. If you get to 39, as Forest are on, Leeds are on 40. West Ham, if they win tomorrow, or they themselves got Leeds on the last day, Leeds will have nothing to play for by then. If they get to 39 points, I think they'd be really
Newcastle have got some tough games, haven't they?
I think West Ham have got a tougher run-in than Tottenham Hotspur, because they've got Brentford away, which is
Arsenal.
Notoriously a really tough place for them to go, by the way. Arsenal at home. Arsenal have got to win that game. Now, maybe they don't. West Ham can cause surprises.
We're going to be at that game, aren't we?
We are, for Game Day Live. But it is going to be a tense afternoon. It's going to be tight. And
back Arsenal to win that.
You'd be backing Arsenal to win it. Newcastle away from home, St James's Park.
Results.
Do you know, it's Newcastle at home. I don't know what's going to happen there, but West Ham, that's a tough place to go.
I think they'll beat Leeds on the last day.
And Leeds on the final day of the season, they may well. I think you're going to end up needing over 38 points to stay in the
Do you think it's going to come down to that last game of the season?
It'll be last game of the season. I think it would go. I said it last week. I think it'll go goal difference.
And the problem
is, you think West Ham? I think Tottenham.
I think West Ham will go down on goal difference.
I know. I'll keep changing my mind. I'll just look at like the injury Spurs keep getting. I just think it's going to be hard for them. I look at West Ham. Look at Bowen coming up with goals and assists. Callum Wilson.
I think they'll win tomorrow, West Ham.
Yeah, I feel like West Ham. I just think like they've got more fighting spirit. But if it comes to that last game of the season, Everton at home for Spurs, Sam, Everton might need a draw to get top 6 or something, or top 7 European football. That's going to be a tough game for Spurs.
If they do win tomorrow, would you change your opinion?
On West Ham?
Yeah.
I think Spurs will beat Aston Villa on Sunday.
Wouldn't surprise me.
That didn't really answer my question. If West Ham win tomorrow, will you change your opinion?
No, because I think it goes down to the last game of the season. Okay. I do think there'll be people will pick up points between now and the end of the season. That's why I think the bar's going to be so high. I think
Listen, I don't care who goes down. Really,
that's not true.
I'm just looking forward to seeing how it pans out.
What about Forest?
Well,
Forest
this is the
haven't got
question
an
I was
easy.
going to ask you next, right?
Yeah, go on then.
Because we've had the conversation about Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa, and obviously the big semi-final. It works both ways, doesn't it? You either get to a European final, and it motivates you to make sure that everybody is switched on and ready to engage, that they are involved in that team, or you get to a European final, everyone thinks, I don't want to miss out on that, and you start to slow off. They've got Chelsea on Monday. That is not an easy fixture, even though Chelsea are
should
the
not
worst.
be being played on Monday. I mean, for all these gripes about Portuguese officials, how can they be played on Monday when they've got the second leg of a semi-final?
I said that to you in the break. The fact is, you can't be doing that. They should be playing both those games on Sunday night.
Yes, I agree.
They should definitely.
Like you said, Forest, Chelsea away, Newcastle at home. Newcastle needs to play for some pride this season. Manchester United away. That's going to be a tough game. Manchester United are on a high.
And then Bournemouth
at home. Bournemouth might. A lot of the games, there's something on it.
Yeah, well, that makes it exciting for us towards the end of the season. But I think that's the reason Nottingham Forest will feel they're not quite out of it.
100%.
I know Daniel Farke doesn't think he's absolutely out of it at the moment.
Leeds will win tonight.
They should win tonight, but they're playing a Burnley team who have just changed the manager. Mike Jackson's gone in there. He did a very good job last time he came as interim manager and almost got them safe. He actually, when he stepped in for Sean Dyche, got Manager of the Month award, and then they ended up getting relegated because they were so far behind. He will set them up in a way to spoil.
100%.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's a draw tonight.
Yeah, before the Wolves game, I'll give the predictions. I wasn't doing it as some sort of joke. I'd done it as, if Spurs want to stay up, they should be looking at the games that I give them points in. Like you says, Villa might rest players. Go to that game and say, we're going to get something. If it's a draw, try and win the game. Leeds at home. If you want to stay in the Premier League, you have to beat Leeds at home.
They've had no luck, Tottenham. I think we can all accept that, especially in the last couple of weeks. So you make your own luck and whatever. But in the last couple of weeks, everything seems to have gone against them. But I just wonder, playing Aston Villa on a Sunday night in between a semi-final, that's a bonus.
Yep.
Playing Leeds United, possibly after they've secured safety, they get a point tonight. That's probably enough for them.
You should want it more.
They should want it more.
Yes.
Playing Chelsea 3 days after the FA Cup final, you hate going to Chelsea. You never win there. But if you're going to go there, at the moment they've lost 5 in a row in the Premier League.
Their best moment. Yep.
And they're playing against them after the FA Cup final. I mean, it couldn't get better than that in 100%. Terms of the way the fixtures
I totally
have gone.
agree. And
they've won one game in 2026.
I know, but new manager
at the end of the season.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but you can't just go off like their form this season. They're in the fight of their lives now. Jared Bowen come out and says West Ham staying up will mean more to him than winning the Conference League. These players are going to be fighting for their lives in these games. Show you want it more than the teams you're playing against. Spurs and West Ham 0 points from the last 4 games.
Sorry,
Cookie, he was right.
Do the West Ham fans feel like that about the Conference League, do you think? Do you think the West Ham fans think that staying this up this season is bigger than the Conference League trophy? Because I was in Prague that night, right? And I don't think that that's true. Because being around those West Ham fans, the way they celebrated, what it was like in Prague afterwards, even the build-up to the game, we had a lovely week there. That week. It's absolutely massive. Those moments, they're the moments that you live
when
for.
you're given that question on the spot, maybe J.R. Bowen's trying to say the right thing. Yeah, really, he doesn't mean that. You know?
I also think if West Ham go down, he knows he's got to have a conversation with a difficult conversation with his father-in-law, isn't he?
Yes.
Because I think
can I leave?
If West Ham stay up, I think he'll stay. But if they go, obviously he will have to go as well. But we know a lot of Portsmouth fans. Obviously, we spent a bit of time on the South Coast when they won the FA Cup in 2008. If you'd have said to them, well, enjoy it because you're going to go all the way down to League Two, you're going to almost go bankrupt. You won't see Premier League football again for a long time.
Take it,
They wouldn't swap it.
Yeah.
I think it would be because of the circumstances, says Jared Bowen. This season, it's been the pressure that being the captain brings. Being captain is a massive honour, but the situation we're in, it falls into your head, and rightly so. I've been here a long time, and people look at me for answers. I'm trying to bring my A game week in, week out. Has it always been like that every week? No, but I'm not going to give up on this club or my teammates. If I can help them with goals and assists, I'll do that. If not, 3 points, it's the most important thing. Their game against Brentford away from home is Saturday, tomorrow afternoon.
Tough game, Sam, isn't it?
Well, it's tough, and I mentioned earlier that they don't have a great record there. I was looking at statistics in the build-up to the game when I was doing the prep for the match. and their record away at Brentford is a bit of a worry. They've won Brentford 3 of their last 4 Premier League home games against West Ham, and the only exception to that has been a draw. West Ham have lost 7 of their last 9 Premier League games.
Brentford looked very good against Manchester United at times, by the way.
But
It's that first half.
You know what?
The chances he missed, Thiago. Wow.
That was just jaw-dropping, wasn't it? The fact that they missed those chances when he scored so many this season. Yeah. Crazy. 03717 22 Talking of Manchester United, we might talk away.
So we don't talk about Manchester United much now, do we? Now it's all serene and they're just quietly going about winning every week.
Teams doing well is not good news.
Never gets mentioned.
We'll do them next.
Arsenal legend Martin Keown had this to say about that penalty being disallowed.
Let me guess.
I simply don't think it was clear and obvious, and the referee there should be allowed to referee the game. VAR's got too involved, and that's not what we wanted with VAR. It's not part of the protocol, really, for me. Simeone, though, his actions to the sideline, and I mean the drama that he creates and the scenes around it. Referee, in the end, I felt buckled under the pressure, went to the screen and didn't stand by his decision. I don't even think he should have been made to go to the screen.
See, what is Martin on about? What is he on about? That's why VAR is there. That's the reason VAR is in place.
I don't think
to overturn clear and obvious. It's not a penalty. It's not a penalty.
Right,
will never convince me it is.
Let's go to Francis, who's an Arsenal fan. All right, Francis?
Right, Franny?
Yes, good evening, Jamie and Jason. I don't want to harp on the penalty. Look, ultimately we have to accept it. I think it was an incorrect decision, but we will accept it. What I do want to talk about, boys, is our so-called skipper, Martin Odegaard. I think he's been getting away with murder for the past 3, maybe 4 seasons. And even, lads, even before a single ball was kicked this season, our legend, Tony Adams, he came out. I'm sure you guys saw the quotes. He came out and he said, we can't win with Martin Odegaard leading the team. And it's no coincidence tonight, Mikel Arteta finally played Declan Rice in the middle as a 6, protecting our centre halves, and you saw what he did.
Should VAR have intervened on that Elliot Anderson challenge on Ollie Watkins? Unai Emery didn't mince his words.
He could break his ankle. Wow, VAR, where are you? Please.
Emery accepted the other VAR decision, which awarded Forest the decisive penalty. The former Forest boss, Sean Dyche, told us the tie's not over at 1-0.
It's a tight one going back to Villa Park. They didn't offer as much as I thought they would, actually. Villa on the night probably should have come away with a clean sheet.
The return leg is next Thursday, live on talkSPORT. For the other English team in action last night, success again. Palace will come back to Selhurst Park next week with a 3-1 lead over Shakhtar. Here's Oliver Glasner.
Big win for us, of course, but it's just half-time. I think we defended very well today. This will give us confidence, but again, to mention it's just half-time, because I believe, honestly, we have to play better at Selhurst to get it over the goal line and go to Leipzig to the final.
Now, Declan Rice could be on thin ice after claiming the decision to overturn the penalty initially given to Eze at the Metropolitano was provoked by the fans. UEFA will assess whether he was questioning the referee's integrity. He got a 2-game ban 4 years ago for similar comments, but it wasn't handed to him until after that season. And Luke Littler's back on top of the Premier League of darts, surpassing Johnny Clayton after his 5th nightly win of the season in Aberdeen last night. Get more at talksport.com.
This is talkSPORT. Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook. We're here right the way through until 1 o'clock this afternoon. So much to talk about, including tonight's game between Leeds against Burnley, and the whole championship season comes down to 90 minutes. We'll discuss that very shortly as well. But it's time to catch up with the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18+. GambleAware.org.
Okay, let's speak to Dan Towers from BetMGM to look at today's top sporting events and discuss the latest odds. Hi, Dan.
Morning, gents. How are we?
Yeah, we're very good. Thank you very much. Well, actually, me and Crookie are okay. Gabby's having a bit of a meltdown, but that's okay. We've sort of had a therapy session for an hour, and we've moved on.
Therapy's great, isn't it, Dan?
It's very good. Yeah. Very good, Gabby Keogh, and I totally agree with you.
Underrated. Hey, Dan. Right, talking of underrated, many people thought that Luke Littler was going to tank in the Premier League darts after his start to the season, but he is absolutely firing now, isn't he? He's come to the fore at just the right time.
He has done. He has done indeed. I mean, last week I was talking about Luke Humphrey's form in the Premier League this year. World number 2, obviously won it last year. He turned that around and he made his second final of this year's tournament and probably should have won it. But as you said, it's Luke Littler. It's his third in the last 4 weeks that he's won, and he's now jumped ahead of Johnny Clayton in the table. Him and Clayton have secured their places at the O2. Reigning playoff places are up for grabs. We've got Gerwyn Price and Michael van Gerwen currently in third and fourth places. But Jan van Veen and Luke Humphrey's only 2 points behind, and if they both win their quarterfinals in Leeds next week, they'll actually meet each other in the semi-finals, which could have huge say of which one of those gets the O2. Littler's the 4-6 favourite with Gerwyn Price and Johnny Clayton 5-1 and 6-1 respectively.
Looking forward to it. That was night 13 last night. Premier League previews this weekend. Leeds Burnley is a massive game for us tonight on talkSPORT, and Arsenal Fulham 5:30 tomorrow will take centre stage, no doubt about that. What do you think happens?
Yeah, looking at the top and the bottom, so as you mentioned, Leeds Burnley this evening. A win would take them 9 points away from Spurs, albeit the Spurs would have a game in hand going into the weekend, and that will take them to 43 points, which no side has ever been relegated with from the Premier League. Leeds unbeaten in their last 5, but recent results between the two have actually favoured Burnley. They did win the reverse fixture earlier in the season, and they took 4 points off Leeds in the Championship last year. So it's not all straightforward, despite the market suggesting that Leeds will move further away from the relegation zone. They're short-priced favourites at 1-3. Burnley are actually 8-1 to go there and win tonight.
Wow.
Just shy of 4-1. At the other end, Arsenal can't afford any slip-ups, can they? And this might be the perfect fixture for them. They've not lost in 32 home games versus Fulham. Based on recent form, I don't expect a huge amount of goals. Gunners not scored more than 2 in their last 14, and Fulham failed to score in 4 of their last 6. Obviously, there's constant media scrutiny about Arsenal's performances ongoing. Sam, you love an XG. Arsenal's was lower than Atletico Madrid midweek, and it was lower versus Newcastle the week previously. It's a huge game in midweek, obviously, for them in the Champions League. Is this a potential banana scheme? Let's not forget, Fulham, they're not out the European places yet.
By the way, I was at Fulham on Saturday. I thought they played really well. They hunted brilliantly without the ball. They worked really hard under Marco Silva. They pressed brilliantly. So, look, I don't know how they're going to approach the game. It's away from home. It's slightly different. Marco Silva doesn't tend to go that full court press when they're away from home. So let's see what happens there. But actually, I think it's a tough game for Mikel Arteta, don't you, Gabby?
100%. And we keep talking about if Aston Villa do win Europa League, 6th place will get Champions League football. When you look at Brighton, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Brentford, Fulham, Everton, even Sunderland, all got a chance. So there's a lot of teams with a lot to play for. There's no reason why Fulham can't get a result there.
Agreed. Arsenal are 2-5 favourites, as you'd expect. The draw at 18-5. Fulham 6.5-1, but I wouldn't rule out the draw at 18-5. I think given the pressure on Arsenal, Fulham's need to push for those European places, then they might both walk away with the point.
Now, each week we'll be placing a prediction on some of the upcoming games on golden goals. If we correctly guess the exact scoreline, BetMGM will donate £500 to our chosen charity, Prostate Cancer UK. There are just 4 weekends left of the season. Just 4 weekends for Alex Crook to get a prediction.
Come on, Crookie, mate.
Right.
Come on. It's not hard.
We had this last week. You've not exactly covered yourselves in glory.
Mate, stop deflecting.
We're off the mark.
Take responsibility for your own actions. You can't constantly just keep sort of diverting attention somewhere else. I didn't win an award, nor did Andy Goldstein.
As you said, Sam, it's a free-to-play game on the app. Who's Matt? Predict 6 correct scores and customers will win 250 grand. But as you said, we just give you 1 game a week to try and put some money in the pot for prostate cancer. Before we come to Mr. Crook, who's 0 out of 39, Sam, we've given you Brentford's game this weekend versus West Ham.
Yeah, and I just reeled off the statistics about Brentford's record against West Ham United. Pretty impressive in recent times. Brentford have won 3 of their last 4 home games against them in the league. I thought they played well on Monday night and should have got something from that game against Manchester United. Manchester United did well second half just to manage it a little bit better, change the formation. Credit to Michael Carrick for doing that. But Thiago missed some serious chances. Jensen and Damsgaard played brilliantly on the night, and so did King Lewis Potter. So I've gone Brentford 2, West Ham 1.
Yeah, you said Brentford beat them 7 of the last 9 Premier League meetings, but over the past 10 league matches, West Ham would actually be sitting 6th in the Premier League. So obviously we know of they're trying to escape the bottom 3. Brentford 2-1 win is a 13-2 shout. Gabby, we've given you Aston Villa Spurs.
Yes, I look at this game and I'll say any other manager in the Premier League probably makes 4 or 5 changes, but I don't think this manager will, Unai Emery. I think he'll be angry at the result against Nottingham Forest, probably angry at the performance from some of the players, and will be demanding a big performance against Spurs. And also Brighton are only 8 points behind. I know that's a lot, but if Brighton were to beat Newcastle this week and Aston Villa loses down to 5, you start getting a bit nervy. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Aston Villa.
Yeah, 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two have actually ended 2-1 to Villa. So you've done your homework, Gabby.
Yes, thank you. Sam sent me that.
Aston Villa Spurs 2-1 home win is 13-2. And Mr. Crook, before we get your prediction, we said 0 out of 39, which we've done a little bit of prep. So that's 392 days since you correctly predicted an Aston Villa 2-1 win versus Forest. Ironically,
wow. That right?
Since that time, Nottingham Forest have had 4 managers. Burnley have been promoted to the Premier League and since relegated. And Rory McIlroy hadn't even won a green jacket and he's now won 2. So let's not dwell on the past. Let's look forward. But we've given you Man United, your beloved Man United this weekend.
Who was in charge of Man United the last time that Crookie predicted a right result?
Must have been Amrin, wasn't it?
What was his name?
He who shall not be named. Anyway, he was in charge when United won at Anfield earlier in the season. We were there.
We were.
I was nursing a hangover, if you remember.
And scared that you were going to get too much attention from the Liverpool fans.
Slightly croaky when Harry Maguire got the winner. But I've gone for a sort of a repeat. Last time United did the double over Liverpool, Louis van Gaal was the manager. Juan Mata scored at Anfield that season. But I'm quite bullish about United's chances. Brilliant home record. I think the only team in the top 10 that Michael Carrick has dropped points against is Bournemouth in that draw down at the Vitality. So I've gone 3-1 to United. And I'll tell you another thing. For extra bonus money, Dan, Mateus Cunha will score.
Right, Gerard, I'll put another £500 in the pot if Mateus Cunha scores and Man United win 3-1. How many times do you think that result's happened in the past 36 years, Crookie?
I remember winning 3-1 at Anfield when Gary Pallister scored twice, but at Old Trafford, I don't recall any 3-1 wins.
Once it's happened. So unlike Gabby, who's clearly done his homework
and tried to
build a narrative for his prediction, it's happened once. But let's see what's happened. Both teams have scored. United winners landed in 4 of United's last 4 games. So, Sam, you've gone for a Brentford 2-1 win. Gabby, you've gone for an Aston Villa 2-1 win. And Crookie, you've gone for a 3-1 Man United victory over Liverpool. The treble pays 700-1. But like we always say, let's try and get some money in the pot for prostate cancer.
Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate that.
Dan.
Cheers. It's another one who stayed through his whole segment, didn't walk out halfway through just because it didn't go his way.
Exactly.
That was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM. Visit betmgm.co.uk, download the app and be 18+ or gambleaware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Kobbie Mainoo has signed a new deal. Alex Crook has lit up a cigar and sat back and watched Manchester United's second half of the season unfold. Everyone's talking about Michael Carrick getting the job. Bruno Fernandes, though, wants a little bit of assurance that they're going to challenge for the Premier League title for him to stay next season. So we'll talk Manchester United next. This is talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook. We're here through till 1 with Selco Builders Warehouse. It's where the trade go.
Look, Jose will always live in Chelsea fans' heart, okay? Because what he achieved and what he done for that football club. But Jose changed as a man. As the game has changed, I don't doubt he still has a quality. But I just find it crazy.
What do you mean?
Well, they've gone from, Real Madrid have gone from moving away from Zidane, okay? Then they went to Ancelotti. And then they brought in Alonso, right? They wanted to go in a different direction, slightly, moving with this slightly younger head coach. And now they're going back to Jose again. They sound a bit lost. Sounds a little bit like they're going back to what they know.
Yeah, but I hear you. And Julian Lorenz made some really good points there. I think Jose Mourinho in a bad fit. I think they thought that they wanted to be, they've got Galactico side, right, with players again with Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, and Bellingham, players like that, right? They wanted to have like an Alonso coach who can make them play football. And they realised these players have got big egos. And they always have when you're at Real Madrid. Real Madrid is full of egos. Ancelotti knew how to control them egos. Who is a manager who knows how to control big egos?
Yeah.
Jose Mourinho.
I'm not saying he doesn't tick any boxes, but he will leave.
Do you need to have brilliant tactics when you've got them world-class players?
No, well, Jose obviously knows his way around a tactic board. He's tactically.
He's not an idiot. Of course he's not.
But there will be that the wheels will fall off. And he's the sort of manager now that I just don't know whether I just think
Benfica are unbeaten this season. I know they're second, but.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
It's talkSPORT, it's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor.
I've looked it up, by the way.
What have you looked up? Fill us all in, because we don't know what you're talking about.
Portuguese for crybaby.
How do you pronounce that, Alex?
Cora Corrido.
Yes. Oh my, you're so fluent.
Chora querido. Great baby.
I guarantee you now there'll be someone who speaks Portuguese but saying, what the hell are you talking
The
about?
ref's like, you guys shut up.
To be fair, I should be able to talk Portuguese. I go there so often.
Yeah, you
What I
do.
like, though, is the prep the cookie's done to find that out. Amazing. Amazing what a laptop does.
Manchester United in action this Sunday. They play in Liverpool. 3:30 the kickoff time on Sunday, which is a little bit unorthodox, but anyway, whatever. But what's happening to the squad in the summer? Because after rejecting a loan deal to Napoli in January, he's got a bumper new deal this week. Kobbie Mainoo is now very much part of Manchester United's future, which Crookie's very happy about. He calls him a generational talent. He signed a new contract to 2031. That ends months of speculation about his future. And I've got to be honest, I thought he was brilliant on Monday night. I still think every now and again I worry a little bit about the other way.
Yes.
But I think in terms of his performances recently, he's justified his position in the Manchester United team. And it does baffle me that the previous fella didn't want him in the team at all.
I think as well, if Manchester United in the summer obviously going to replace Casemiro, maybe Anderson or maybe Man City get him. Well, a player like Elliot Anderson, imagine that midfield, Anderson, Mainoo and Fernandes. You've got an Elliot Anderson to go and get the ball back. So it's not much that Mainoo has to do in that role.
The partnership between Casemiro and Mainoo has been impressive, I think.
Absolutely. And it's freed up Bruno Fernandes to go and play in his actual position. And now he's putting the numbers on the board. So, I mean, for me, when you look at all the things that the previous manager got wrong, this was the biggest stick that I would use to beat him with, because you look at the history of Manchester United, it is all about nurturing young players coming through the academy, prospering in the first team. This is someone who scored a winning goal in an FA Cup final for United, someone who went to the European Championships as a teenager with England and had a transformative impact on that team because they were struggling, weren't they, to know who to play in midfield. Trent started the tournament there. Conor Gallagher got a bit of game time. It was only when Kobbie came into the England team there was any balance. Now, how, if you're a highly paid, top-level manager, can you ignore a player of that ability? And not only ignore a player of that ability, by ignoring Kobbie Mainoo, you're asking Bruno Fernandes, probably the best number 10 in the country, to play in a defensive midfield role. That is a sackable offence. And it's taken a little while for Kobbie Mainoo because I think his confidence was absolutely shattered by that snub. Credit to Michael Carrick. He's nurtured him back. That was his best game of the season against Brentford on Monday. And I think he's got to be on a plane for England.
Really was. And it's worth pointing out that he has missed just one game under Michael Carrick, and that game was the Leeds match, which he missed through injury. Well, Manchester United lost that.
As well, Sam, only Lemens, Fernandes and Casemiro played more minutes than Mainoo under Carrick. Just shows how much he's rated him. Well, and even the hierarchy at Manchester...
recognise his game.
But even as well, maybe the hierarchy at Manchester United would have been saying to themselves, should we say something here about Mainoo on the Ram Room? Because he's an asset, isn't it, Cookie, as well? Imagine if
he wanted
out
his
way.
He
would have
wanted
sold
out
him
the club.
for what? 40 million? What's his value now?
Well, credit to him for waiting it out.
Well, I think he realised that the manager was useless and that he'd outlast him.
How sure can Manchester United be in considering themselves title challengers next season? Then, seeing as they've got generational talent now in midfield, signed up till 2030, the best number 10 in the Premier League, as you've just said, one of the best strikers in Europe, leading the line in Benjamin Šeško. So how confident are you that they can challenge for the title next year?
Listen, I think the spine is there, but I'm not going to sit here and say that Manchester United all of a sudden are title contenders.
Didn't they?
I actually think this could have been the season they challenged for the title if they had a proper manager at the start of the season, because I don't think it's a brilliant Premier League and they're not that far back on City and Arsenal. They've dropped some stupid points along the way, not necessarily under Carrick, although the Leeds game was a poor one. But they need bodies. I mean, the talk is they'll probably get 4 players this summer. I think they need 7 or 8 when you take into account the players who are departing. You mentioned Casemiro, Xerxes wants out, Malacia will go. They're going to sell Ugarte for half what they paid for him. So the squad is light, and we've seen that. Even that Leeds game you talked about, with no Maguire, they struggled defensively. With no Mainoo, they struggled in midfield. So it's another massive summer, which is why I know we're hearing they're not in a rush to appoint a manager. They should be now, because United can wrap up Champions League football this weekend. So they've got to make the decision so they can start putting those building blocks in place.
I think we probably should make it clear at this point that it's not as if they've made a decision on Michael Carrick and they're not telling us that they haven't made that decision yet. They haven't had those conversations yet. It's still very much up in the air. I think that they will have those conversations as soon as they secure Champions League football, which can happen this weekend, actually, and probably will happen this weekend if they get a positive result.
And also, let's not get it twisted. Manchester United done very well under Michael Carrick for 1 game a week. Look at all the other teams that are playing European football.
That can be a negative as well, Gav.
No, but
that Leeds game, they looked undercooked.
But come on, look at all these players we're talking about. Declan Rice looks tired. This player, Morgan Rogers, looks like he need a rest. It takes it on you when you're playing away from home on a Thursday, then you're playing on the weekend. Next season, when Manchester United have got big European games in the Champions League, it might be even a harder season, so you can't even look at Manchester United now and say...
We talked about this on Monday night with Brucey, and one of the things that we were talking about was, obviously, Michael Carrick, he hasn't done that, he hasn't played Champions League and then Premier League week in, week out. But this is a guy who managed in the Championship, so he knows how to manage a squad. 46 games, there's games every 15 minutes in that league. Plus, he also took his team, Middlesbrough, whilst challenging for a playoff place, into the EFL Cup semi-finals. So they played a lot of games that season, and they had a good season. So
it's more the players and the more games you're playing.
But that's not his responsibility. It's the responsibility on the club to make sure they give him the resources to succeed.
I'm just saying more games, more chance of injuries.
And arguably, I don't mean to be funny, but I reckon they're saving money if you're appointing Michael Carrick than if you're going out spending big money on Thomas Tuchel, for example, which is what they wanted to do a couple of years ago, or trying to prize Nagelsmann away from Germany. So you're probably saving a little bit of money there. So make sure you give him the resources he needs.
What positions are the most important then?
Well, midfield,
centre half.
Two midfielders.
Yeah, I would imagine
centre midfield, definitely.
2 midfielders. If you get 4 players, what positions?
2 midfielders, a left back, because it's asking a lot for Luke Shaw to play.
They like Diouf at West Ham
every 3 days. They do, yeah.
I do think he's a good defender. And then who else?
Proven in the Premier League. Well, probably another forward. Because again, I think they've managed Šeško quite well, actually. And again, Carrick deserves a lot of credit for that, because part of the reason Rasmus Højlund was so poor by the end of his United career was because he was overplayed in a team that didn't create a lot of chances.
Agreed.
And his confidence was battered.
He'll get better and better, Šeško as well.
Slowly integrated Šeško. And I think he looks the real deal.
I agree.
Mainu, a generational talent. Šeško, one of the best strikers in Europe. Am I listening to talkSPORT or Talk Rubbish? Now, that was me with my tongue in my cheek
we do have
to him.
We do mess around sometimes, guys.
That's what he says. So I had to make sure that I brought that up.
Just on the managerial situation, and I've tried to keep my powder dry on this one, because I actually think it's sensible to wait until you guaranteed Champions League football and then make a call. But I've not seen a name, a realistic target that I would say, do you know what, if we get him, thanks Michael Carrick, but we're going to move on. Thomas Tuchel I think would fit into that category, but that's clearly not going to happen because he's committed to England. There's talk of Carlo Ancelotti, but they can't wait until Brazil are out the World Cup or even have won the World Cup, because they've got a plan. And, as you say, he's got a new deal already. You look at the options available. Obviously, Glasner was talked about. Marco Silva's been mentioned. Iriola, the latest. I'm not sure I would necessarily appoint any of them ahead of Michael Carrick. I don't think I would. Iriola's done brilliant at Bournemouth, by the way. But there's a massive difference between managing Bournemouth and managing the juggernaut that is Manchester United. And because he was there during the glory days, Carrick knows that pressure. Iriola doesn't.
The problem they've got as well, though, is if they did give the job to someone else and they start off bad next season, everyone will be saying, why didn't you just keep...
Whatever Jason Wilcox does now and Omar Barada is a massive gamble, because if they appoint someone and they get it wrong, they're in the firing line, and they're already in the firing line because of what's happened previously. If they appoint Michael Carrick and it doesn't go well, then... Again, they're in the firing line because they'll all come back. Oh, it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Mark II, all that kind of stuff.
Goes somewhere else.
So whatever you do, you're on a harding to nothing. So what you should, in my opinion, I think you give Michael Carrick the job. You make sure you
clauses.
There's always going to be clauses. There's always going to be clauses.
Right, so it doesn't matter. Give him a 5-year contract. It sends the right message, but at the same time, make sure you've got your clause ready. But also at the same time, make sure you invest in the playing squad. Because if you invest in the playing squad and upgrade the options... Manchester United have got a lot of players. I was just going through the squad, actually. I actually think the squad's fine. It does need to be supplemented in certain areas, but it can only be supplemented with top quality.
They did in the summer.
They did. Their recruitment was excellent.
Exactly, so there's no reason why they can't again Champions League money as well.
And you said they need a left-back. They've actually got one in Diego Leon, who they recruited in the summer, who's still young.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him.
You've got Dorgu's just coming back as well. So
he played a bit forward, didn't he?
I actually think they probably need a right-back. Actually, another right back to help Diogo.
Good show.
Okay. Hi, chaps. Love the show on a Friday. On Mainu, I agree that he's a very good player, but Crookie calling him a generational talent is at least extremely premature, or maybe even an overstatement. Hasn't done enough to be called that, says Mark.
Sam, you know more about what Manchester United need than a Manchester United fan, Alex. Amazing.
I'm not sure about it.
Okay.
This is talkSPORT.
Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua. 03717 223344. Mohammed in Cardiff. Good morning. Where are you at with this then?
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Simon.
Morning.
Well, congratulations for your winning your award.
Thanks, mate.
But I think this is just another retirement paycheck for both of these fighters. 5 years ago, this fight would have been amazing. Both of them were in their prime. Both of them were world champions. It probably would have been a biggest fight in British boxing history. But now, Fury, you've seen a decline in his last fight. AJ hasn't been the same for a while. And it looks like it's just another big retirement paycheck for the both of them.
Yeah, but Mohammed, you'll watch it, right? You won't miss it.
No, I don't think I watch it, if I'm honest. Like, there's a fight on Saturday, Benavidez versus Ramirez. That's a fight
that's a proper fight. Yeah,
you see, that's a proper fight. Wardley and Dubois, another fight.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
There's
right.
jeopardy behind it. But this fight is just like Eubank and Ben. It's just another cop out. Obviously, these two guys have achieved more than Ben and Eubank, but it looks like 5 years ago would have been great, but now I don't think I'd be wasting my time on watching, if I'm honest.
Interesting. Mohammed, listen, thanks for that. Arsenal fan, boxing fan, Keith, we know you. Keith, good morning.
Luckiest men in the history of British boxing. When he fought in
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon, I'm Max Scott here with your sports headlines. Gabby Agbonlahor has admitted Aston Villa weren't good enough to get a result last night, but cannot get his head around how Forest's best player managed to stay on the field.
No one can tell me that watches football week in, week out that's not a red card. Did he get the ball first? You can argue yes, but we've seen so many players get red cards in the last 2 years. When you follow through and you hit a player like that, how can the referee not be told to go to VAR? Baffling.
Forest legend Stuart Pearce, meanwhile, has a slightly different take.
If that side of the pitch has seen worse challenges than that, I can vouch for that.
That's for sure.
Right,
I used to watch him.
Yeah, normally when you catch them 3 yards from the dugout, you expect them to go over the dugout.
Forest travel to Villa Park with that precious one-goal lead next Thursday live on talkSPORT. Now, we're told Craig Bellamy is reluctant to vacate his Wales job in order to join Burnley as Scott Parker's replacement. Stephen Gerrard, we understand, would be keen on the role. Eddie Howe says Newcastle Saudi owners are very much still committed to the project. He was asked if his meeting with them has given him more clarity over his future.
I've never needed clarity on my head in the sense that I'm here and I'm working and I'm committed. Felt at Arsenal as a real positive upturn in performance, but I always find with these things you can talk as much as you want. The proof is always in how the team performs, so I'm under no illusions that needs to be positive.
And we understand Sheffield Wednesday should have a new owner in place by today. The £20 million takeover by US businessman David Storch is at the final paperwork stage, but we're told Wednesday will still start next season on minus 15 points. Get all the latest on the website at talksport.com.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. The tyre transfer window is hotting up and we've signed a multi-generational talent with Continental Tyres. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
In your news headlines, a man's been remanded in custody after appearing in court charged with attempted murder after 2 Jewish men were stabbed in London. And homeless charities say England's new Renters' Right Act will mean fewer families end up without a place to live. More with Sinead on that in half an hour. In the weather, warm spells, lots of sunshine, some showers though moving eastwards throughout the day, affecting Western England and Scotland.
Hello, very good afternoon to you. Happy Friday. It's Bank Holiday weekend, and it's a massive, massive weekend in the EFL Championship with decisions to be made in the playoffs and for automatic promotion.
It's been a thrilling championship season, and coming into the final day, the race for both second place and the playoffs is all still to play for. Here's everything you need to know. At the top of the table, Coventry City can simply enjoy the occasion. The Sky Blues are going up as champions. They head to Vicarage Road to face Watford, though manager Frank Lampard has told talkSPORT his players won't act like they're already on the beach.
We will focus on Watford because we want to get as many points as we can. We want the travelling fans to see the team that has won the league play like a team like that.
With the title decided, the real focus is on the race for that second automatic promotion spot. Ipswich control their own destiny as they sit a point above Millwall. A win at Portman Road against QPR guarantees them Premier League football.
And Ipswich take one step, 1 point closer to getting back to the Premier League at the first time of asking.
If they fail to win, they'll be relying on Millwall, who host Oxford, and Middlesbrough, who travel to Wrexham to drop points.
It's the playoffs. We love it.
Meanwhile, the battle for the final playoff spot is going right down to the wire, and it will also directly affect the automatic promotion race. Wrexham currently just about holds 6th place on goal difference alone and host Middlesbrough in a huge clash. Hull City are level on points with Wrexham and are behind by just a single goal. Derby County sit just a single point behind them and will be hoping both drop points so they can sneak in by beating Sheffield United. As for relegation, Oxford, Leicester and Sheffield Wednesday are already down and preparing for League One next year. So that's everything you need to know ahead of this weekend's Championship final day.
What a weekend, live on talkSPORT, 12:30 tomorrow. It's Ipswich against Queen's Park Rangers in the Championship. It's a talkSPORT exclusive. Ian Danter will be leading the commentary team. Dean Ashton will be alongside him. Joe Shedden will be at Wrexham versus Middlesbrough. That's live on talkSPORT 2. It's the perfect day to have your radio on because so much can change. Ipswich in the driving seat. Surely they won't let it slip at the last hurdle. Let's see what happens. Wrexham against Middlesbrough. Massive, massive game. Wrexham trying to finish in the playoff places. What a fantastic end to the season that would be for the Hollywood owners if that did come to fruition. Interesting. Wrexham against Middlesbrough. Hull, they're at home against Norwich. Both got 70 points. Wrexham in the playoff places on goal difference. 1 goal in it. That's going to go down to the wire. It's going to be absolutely superb.
Don't write off Derby either.
Don't write off Derby either. Why do you not write off Derby? Come on, tell me why. Make a case for it. 69 points, 45 games.
They're in decent form. They seem to have the momentum, whereas certainly Hull are wobbling above them. And even Wrexham, they look to shoe in for the top 6 at one stage, but just struggling to get over the line.
OK, let's speak to Mickey Thomas, former Wrexham hero, scored one of the most famous goals in Wrexham's history, and he joins us now to talk about the playoff race and the race for promotion. Hi, Mickey.
How are you guys?
Very good.
I'm a little bit nervous after listening to Alex there saying about what could happen. So, yeah, I do slightly agree with him about Derby being the outsiders. You know, Wrexham have to lose, and obviously Hull do as well, but Derby, goal advantage, they can sneak on that. So that's a bit of a worry, but you have to focus on what you've got to do.
And what do you think about the way that Phil Parkinson has negotiated the season? Because midway through, well, even going back to when I was there last for the defeat at home to Cardiff in the Carabao Cup, people were talking about the possibility of him losing his job. But boy, has he reshaped the team and turned them around and focused them towards the Premier League. And, you know, there's every chance they can get there now, isn't there, Mickey?
Yeah, I mean, what he's achieved is incredible. You know, I think he's one of the best managers at this moment in time from what he's achieved, you know, to get where they are, to have a chance of the playoffs. You know, I never thought that. Beginning of the season, I thought, yeah, mid-table, I'd be happy with that. But, you know, they've gone beyond that. And, you know, coming to the last game sort of thing, and it is in their hand. They have to win that game. There's no question about that. A draw would be not good enough for me. So yeah, just focus on winning the game.
How tough is it, the fact that they've got Middlesbrough on the final day of the season, who still have an outside chance of pipping the other two for Ipswich and Millwall for an automatic place? Does that add extra jeopardy to it, or does that play into Wrexham's hands in some senses?
Well, they are a good side. I mean, the last game they played 5-1 against Watford, was it? Yeah, a very convincing win that was. So, yeah, they'll come to Wrexham believing they can get a result. But, you know, I can't predict it. You know, I'm not a player no more. I wish I was, because I'm dead nervous on the side. I can't do nothing about it. If it was on the pitch, I could do something. But, yeah, I think Wrexham can win that. They have to, obviously, 10,500 fans behind, you know, cheering them on. You know, is it another Hollywood ending? Let's hope it is.
It's a tough game, though, isn't it? If you look at the fixtures, and that's why I mentioned Derby as well as a team who maybe could sneak in there, because they're at home to a Sheffield United side with nothing to play for. Middlesbrough will still believe they can get in those automatic promotion places. Again, it would take a freak set of results, but it's just about as tough a last game as you could have picked, isn't it?
Yeah, without doubt, it's the toughest game of all because Middlesbrough all season have been up there, and they right in contention for automatic position. So yeah, but Wrexham will be well ready for this game. Phil Parkinson, as I said, he's done a magnificent job. He's got good players, got good experienced players on that side as well, because this is going to come down to being, cool and ready for this occasion, because this will be a massive game in more ways than one. If Wrexham could just do that, and, the players you well know, guys, anything can happen.
Sean Harvey, who is the CEO, he's the main guy. He's a director at Wrexham. He's been involved with the Football League for many years as well. He says it will be the greatest sports story ever told if Wrexham were to get into the Premier League. Is that overstating it a little bit, or is that how you feel as a former Wrexham player?
I've been saying that all along. Without doubt, it will be the biggest story in the history of football, from the National League into the Premier League. Never been done before. You wouldn't argue against that. They've had probably a few bob put in their way and to get good players in, but it's the manager, how he's managed to get that team in this position. He's got to take all the credit, because, you get a group of players and you can spend money, but sometimes that doesn't always work. You have to have the right ingredients, and he's done that. It's like making the perfect cake. He's done it brilliantly.
Josh Windass, Kiefer Moore, been really important for them over the course of the season, haven't they?
Totally agree with you. Certainly, Windass for me is a match winner. He's different, he's not regimental. He's something that can get a goal out of nothing, and I do like him. And Kiefer Moore, he's very physical up front. He's been outstanding as well. But if I was going to pick one player, it would be Josh Windass, because he is a match winner on his day. There's no question about that. So hopefully he can produce that tomorrow.
Even if the worst happened and Wrexham didn't make the playoffs, they've got a settled squad, haven't they, to have another go next season, Mickey?
Yeah, and I think, without doubt, I'm laughing here, they will add to that squad for sure. They will strengthen it even more. They're desperate to get in that Premier League, and Robin Ryan, want that, and the fans want that. And yeah, you can't put them to one side and say that they're not going to do it. They're capable of doing it.
Yes.
I think if you get the opportunity now, you have to take that opportunity and get in that Premier League. That's where everyone wants to be. And as I said, it would be the biggest story ever in the history of the game.
Mickey, let's swap from club to country for a moment. Craig Bellamy, a potential target to replace Scott Parker at Burnley. My information is that actually he's committed to Wales. He wants to lead them out at the home Euros in a couple of years. Is that good news from a Welsh perspective?
Oh, without doubt. I mean, he's a passionate Welshman, and I know him. I spoke to him at the Wrexham game a couple of months ago. He loves what he's doing. He's got a great belief in what he's doing as well as the youngsters coming through. Burnley, I'm not being disrespectful. Is that really something that he needs? A team that's up and down? I think, he wants to finish the job that he's took over at Wales. I really believe that. I hope he does. I think, he's got a good group of players there now. Yes, we missed out disappointingly, but, the future's bright for Wales football, certainly with Craig Bellamy in charge.
Cheers, Mickey. Thank you very much. Wrexham against Middlesbrough is live on talkSPORT 2 in the Championship tomorrow. Very tight for both those two teams. Middlesbrough trying to get into the automatic top two places. Wrexham trying to make sure they maintain their position in the Championship playoff picture. Ipswich QPR is also live on talkSPORT. That's tomorrow at 12:30 with Ian Danter and Dean Ashton. I'm sure that Wrexham haven't already booked a parade just in case they get to the playoffs. But we are hearing that Ipswich have already booked their promotion parade for after the weekend. We're hearing it from a source very close.
Any names?
To the situation. Would you have done that?
I think you have to, don't you? In terms of getting the council involved, there'll be road closures. So I know what you're trying to do here, but
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just giving you the information.
You're trying to stir it up, but I think they've got to follow the proper process.
What do you think about that, Gabby? Would you? I mean, because I suppose Aston Villa have already looked into their Europa League.
And ours, yes, we have, mate. You have to do it in advance. The council can be hard to work with, so.
Did you have an open top parade when you won Player of the Month?
I did, mate. Yeah.
Around your garden, which is massive, by the way.
I wish, Cookie. Be nice to me, Cookie. I took a lot today from
open top lawnmower.
No, they've got to do it, and I'm sure they'll get it over the line, Ipswich.
Okay, Ipswich face a QPR side who are mid-table. Millwall's opponents, Oxford, have already been relegated. Middlesbrough face the toughest challenge of all. We've already talked about the Wrexham situation. Ipswich QPR, Millwall versus Oxford, Wrexham versus Middlesbrough. Who goes up? Ipswich will be promoted if they win. A draw will be enough if Millwall fail to win and Middlesbrough don't win by more than 5 goals. Up regardless if Millwall and Middlesbrough both fail to win. Millwall will be promoted if they win and Ipswich fail to win. So what happens?
Ipswich get it over the line.
Yeah, they will.
QPR, nothing to play for.
I'm in the minority. I think I'm the only person outside of the den who wants Millwall to go up.
Yeah, but you only want Millwall to go up because it's easy for you to get to.
I also think it's quite refreshing. You know, Coventry City getting back there after 25 years with no parachute payments. Ipswich have yo-yoed, they've been up, they've come back down, they've got the parachute money. I like seeing new teams in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up for Millwall coming up, but I think they're going to need a lot of investment in order to stay there. And what you don't want is teams that come up and then can't compete. And look at Sunderland, how well they did. They were brilliant. And I think Ipswich, hopefully, have learnt their lesson from last time.
Got a problem with Ipswich, Cookie? What's the problem, mate?
I just think they're a little bit overhyped. A
bit like Norwich, yo-yo club?
Burnley.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Again, my personal view is if you get promoted, you get relegated, you get one more bite. If you get promoted again, then you get relegated again. I think there should be some kind of ban in place.
Ipswich for Cookie? Is it far trip?
It's a long way.
Okay, making sense.
But the reason it's all right for you to say that, but actually, isn't that because of the strength of the Premier League and the amount of money in the Premier League that it's so hard for teams to compete? So they kind of need a little bit of time to get up, get some money, go back, come up again, get some more money, build the club, build the infrastructure, and repurpose themselves.
A bit like Leeds this season, staying up.
And also, Ipswich got promoted from League One a couple of years ago. Are you really having a go at a team that have got 3 promotions in 4 years?
Exactly, do it on a shoestring, did they?
So that doesn't count then?
Comes with a caveat.
Because Manchester United don't spend any money.
But you're right, though, about Leeds coming up. They've stayed up this season, spend a bit of money.
Well, they've been down and up, down and up, Leeds United, and they've established themselves.
Get rid of their dead wood now.
Imagine being a Burnley fan right now. They got promoted before, you know, blaze of glory in the Championship, stunk the place out, go back down, break all kinds of clean sheet records, come back up, stink the place out again. What a soulless season they've had, Burnley. Can't be enjoyable.
Do you think Scott Parker gets a top job like Company did?
What about if they had invested in January? Maybe they would have had a different experience. And they didn't, did they? They got one player on loan, James Ward-Prowse.
There's the point. How ambitious were they actually to stay in the Premier League?
So why are you blaming Scott Parker?
Go down and take the parachute money. I didn't mention Scott Parker.
Yeah,
he did.
03717 2233 44. You were having a go at him the other day, weren't you?
I didn't mention him.
Premier League All Access podcast. You called him a championship manager.
That wasn't me.
It did. It was you.
That was Scott Minto.
It was you.
Who was it who said he had a computer game named after him? That wasn't me.
That's not what I said.
I think you did.
You said he was a championship manager.
No, I said there's question marks about his record in the Premier League, which is fair.
You actually said the words.
Somebody said he's got a computer game named after him.
FA Sam wouldn't say that. FA Sam would not say that.
It wasn't me.
Honestly, twice today, I've tried to put words in my mouth, Gab. I do that for myself. I don't need any help.
03717 2233 44 is the number to call. You having a go at me today? Out of all days, out of order. This is talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
Whatever happened to the traditional cagey semi-final affair? The first leg of this semi-final, the highest scoring of any in Champions League history. Now, on Amazon, Vincent Kompany spoke post-match, and he tried to describe what we'd just seen.
Yeah, I would say, well, what do you want? Do you want teams that... I think you've seen a lot of good defending today. intense duels and this, but it's just the margins are so little, and you only have two ways. So the first one is to go full, or the second one is to retreat fully. The in-between doesn't work against that level of players. The in-between doesn't work against our level of players.
Well, Vincent doesn't exactly see it as Wayne Rooney saw it. We saw some good defending. Vincent, what? Wayne Rooney, at this level, we have seen some brilliance, but we've seen some immature defending, which is crazy. He's not wrong, Dan.
There was some poor defending, yeah. But the problem you've got is when you play the way those two teams do, you're going to isolate people 1v1. And you can call it poor defending or you can just call it brilliant forward play. It's nearly impossible if you're one-on-one with someone with electric pace and good skill, because they can go both ways, to stop them. Kvaratskhelia goal, for example, or when you've got Elise one-on-one, you're in a world of trouble. So, I think rather than focus on whether there was good or bad defending, what I enjoyed most is that styles make fights. You've got two teams who think they're the best.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
This week on Inside Liverpool, Jermaine Pennant has fired a warning at Arne Slot ahead of next season.
I hope this season is a massive learning curve for him. And that he is not going to be stubborn and will change certain parts and style of the team in the game, and that's pressing. You cannot be positive, you cannot be successful in this Premier League if you do not press from the front. If you do not press, if you let teams just have the ball and take it, they will hurt you. If you do not press from the front, be aggressive all the time, close down, you will not. Because you look at the top teams, that's what they do. If we don't do that, we don't adopt that style like we used to, then it's going to be one of those.
And don't forget, you can watch all the latest Inside Series episodes live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel right now. That's all thanks to BetMGM. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
3-1, yeah.
Funnily enough, Alex Crook has been taken to task by...
You've upset Mr. Minto, haven't you?
No, I haven't. You've upset Mr. Minto, and he wants you to apologise, which you will do after we've heard from Arne Slot, whose team, Liverpool, have won 3 of the last 5 away games against Manchester United. They play them Sunday at 3:30, but he still says, we're not at our best.
I think we can be on a much higher level than we are now. If you simply look at the results, then we can be very positive. It's 3 wins out of 3 games. But performance-wise, I don't think it has been our 3 best performances of this season. So we can play much better. We've shown already that we can play much better. But in many of these games, we were very unlucky with the outcome of the game. I think in the last 3 games, I wouldn't say we did not deserve to win, but we were more lucky than we've ever been this season. So this team is capable of much more, but yeah, it would be helpful if everyone is available once in a while as well, and that hasn't been the situation throughout the whole season, and that's very extreme at the moment, the amount of players we are missing. But the good thing is that we only play once a week, which I would prefer not to have. I would prefer to play the Champions League semi-final during the week, but since that's not the case, that means that the players that constantly have to play are a bit better rested in the games in the weekends. But no, I think we can be much better than we've played recently.
Yeah, I think we've been telling you this for a little while, that we thought he was going to stay as the Liverpool boss next season, but he has got some work to do before the start of next season to fill some holes in that squad.
Yeah, big holes, I think, and I'm not sure how much money there will be to do that. But he is right, and I know you were chirping away saying everybody's got injuries, but they've lost some big players at massive times, and even Ekitike, missing the run-in and missing the World Cup. Isak has barely been able to kick a ball, not been able to make a meaningful contribution, so I hope they can have a clean bill of health for next week. Yeah, Salah out as well.
Bradley's been out for most of the season.
But the summer, though, they need some real good players coming in, because Ekitike, I've done that injury, snapped Achilles. He'd be lucky to play again next season. It's a horrible injury. It can have complications. So you're looking at that attacking lineup: Gakpo, Rio, the young winger, Isak hasn't been at his best since to come back from injury. They need to go out there and make a statement signing, but who? It's laughable when people say Elise. Why would you leave Bayern Munich to come to Liverpool? No offence.
It'll be interesting to see what they do and how much money they've got. Before we move on, let's just get Crook to apologise to Scott Minto for making up a quote. The ultimate deflect there, says Scott Minto. I'll throw someone else under the bus, even though he said the opposite, to protect myself.
What's happened here?
I never actually said what you were accusing me of.
You did. Yeah. The Premier League All Access podcast is available on the talkSPORT app, wherever you get your podcasts from, and you can listen to it, and see exactly what he said, and you'll find out.
You can be sued, Cookie, when you don't. You make up things.
He's been sued a few times. It won't be a new experience.
Go on, Scott, sue him.
About it too much. This is talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deal at selcobw.com. Remember, tonight we've got Leeds against Burnley in the Premier League. Sunday night, it's Aston Villa against Tottenham Hotspur. And Monday night football, huge game. Everton against Manchester City.
Lincoln City celebrated their title win this weekend. Decided this is the big moment to mock Spurs.
What? Oh my God! up the imps. Up the imps. Jay, Tottenham away, ole ole. That is shameless.
I don't know where to
Tottenham.
go.
Do you know that game now has been built up to something? Right?
Yeah, I know. It has. It's been a thing. Because of you. Because of you.
There's nothing to do with me. I'm not.
No, it is. No, it's because of you. You made it a
I'm
thing.
not playing centre off Spurs. It's just who we are, mate. It's not my fault you're there.
Ah, it's a killer. Oh, it's a killer. Lincoln away next season.
Mate, don't knock the imps, mate. Up the imps.
Lincoln away.
Ole, ole.
It's a killer. It is.
Can you imagine Spurs start singing Lincoln away, ole, ole?
Well, you know what? We're going to have to. Maybe we're going to have to.
No, Jay, get out of it, mate.
Do you think we'll get out of it?
Jay, I've been saying all along you'll get out of it, right? You'll find a way. I cannot... Look, it's a straight shootout between you and West Ham. Up your hands. Straight shootout, mate.
Oh, I can't see it.
I
can't see it.
No, it is a straight shootout between you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but West Ham are decent.
Mate, they've been decent.
They've been all right.
Look, you picked up your first victory, right? Roberto De Spurs.
At what cost? Solanke and Jamie Simmons out. Season over.
Patch them up, get them out. You got Bergvall back. Bentancur's back.
The Bentancur was good.
Right, okay, so you got them back. Stop moaning.
Should VAR have intervened on that Elliot Anderson challenge on Ollie Watkins? Unai Emery didn't mince his words.
He could break his ankle. He could break his ankle. Wow, VAR, where are you? Please.
Emery accepted the other VAR decision, which awarded Forest the decisive penalty. The former Forest boss, Sean Dyche, told us the tie's not over at 1-0.
It's a tight one going back to Villa Park. They didn't offer as much as I thought they would, actually. Villa on the night probably should have come away with a clean sheet.
The return leg is next Thursday, live on talkSPORT. For the other English team in action last night, success again. Palace will come back to Selhurst Park next week with a 3-1 lead over Shakhtar. Here's Oliver Glasner.
Big win for us, of course, but it's just half-time. I think we defended very well today. This will give us confidence, but again, to mention it's just half-time, because I believe, honestly, we have to play better at Selhurst to get it over the goal line and go to Leipzig to the final.
Now, Declan Rice could be on thin ice after claiming the decision to overturn the penalty initially given to Eze at the Metropolitano was provoked by the fans. UEFA will assess whether he was questioning the referee's integrity. He got a 2-game ban 4 years ago for similar comments, but it wasn't handed to him until after that season. And Luke Littler's back on top of the Premier League of darts, surpassing Johnny Clayton after his 5th nightly win of the season in Aberdeen last night. Get more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT. Ben Kennedy Weeks has said, have Mickey Thomas and the Wrexham CEO been living under a rock for the last decade? Describing Wrexham potentially going from non-league to the Premier League as the greatest football story ever is ludicrous. My team, Luton Town, did this only 3 years ago with next to no money and after being sent to non-league with minus 30 points. The Football League tried to destroy us, but we came all the way back. Way bigger achievement than doing it with millions of quid. Couple of numpties.
He's got a point, actually, because, you know, Bournemouth, minus 17 in League Two. Eddie Howe took them all the way into the Premier League, so it's not going to be the greatest
Well,
story
what's great, though, is that there are so many of these brilliant stories.
Brighton,
and what
homeless
it
to
tells
Premier
you,
League.
And Burnley almost went out of the Premier League existence.
Spent good money down there as well, Wrexham.
They spend good money. Everyone spends good money. But ultimately, what's great is there's Luton, there's Leicester, there's Bournemouth, there's Burnley, clubs that have almost gone out of existence or had problems, Brighton, and have come through the pyramid. That's the beauty of the pyramid in this country.
Yep. More Hollywood stories if they come to the Premier League.
It was Adrian Durham who said Scott Parker had a computer game named after him. Crookie couldn't come up with something that witty, said Paul, the Rushden Diamonds fan.
They
0371.
even exist anymore, Rushden and Diamond. They're still a club.
What?
Are they still a club, Rushden and Diamond?
03717223344. Fulham are the next opponents for Arsenal. They take on each other at the Emirates tomorrow at 5:30. Will Arsenal take the opportunity to register 3 points and go 6 points ahead of Manchester City? And psychologically, what difference does that make for City going into the game against Everton, do you think?
Pressure's on City then, isn't it? I was surprised at Arsenal against Newcastle not going for more goals. It was a bit of a dead game after that goal. Wissa should have scored as well to equalise. But Fulham have got some good players, Sam. Watching that game against Aston Villa, Smith Rowe, I think he's a fantastic player. Want to do well against his old club. I love the young lad King. I think he's a problem. They've got some very good players, haven't they? Who
hasn't been playing King, though. He's been coming off the bench because Smith Rowe has sort of cemented his place. And actually, I thought
most of the season he's been the better player, King.
He has. And I think Fulham fans were a little bit sort of upset about the fact that King wasn't getting more football. But Smith Rowe in the last few weeks has really put in some good performances.
Oscar Bob come off the bench against Villa as well. They've got a lot of options, haven't they, going forward? Harry Wilson, who's in great form as well, will be looking for a move in the summer.
Could be a Villa player.
Exactly. The Champions League football with Villa. But Arsenal have to be at it. They have to play better, Sam. And maybe will it be a time for Mikel Arteta to rotate a little bit? We were talking about it yesterday. Norgard, hardly any football. Captain of Brentford. And he doesn't trust him. Mikel Arteta, he rotates everybody, but doesn't give Norgard any game time.
And if you're going to go to the Emirates, now's as good a time as any, isn't it? In between the two legs of the semi-final, and obviously work to do for Arsenal against Atletico. I know a lot of people think that second leg might go the distance in midweek. We might be talking about extra time and potentially penalties. So, yeah, that's got to come into Arteta's selection, you'd have thought.
I thought Gyökeres actually had one of his better games on Wednesday night. Was it Tuesday night? Wednesday night.
Wednesday, yeah.
That's that run down the left-hand side that really sort of showed his power. That's the kind of thing that they want more from.
You don't see enough, though. I agree. When I saw that, it was against Llorente, wasn't it? Who was following him, and he bars him out of the way, crosses it for Odegaard, who gets a shot blocked. He's got to do that more often, because he would have been so disappointed that Arteta chose Havertz against Manchester City. That's one of them games, Crookie, that, like, as a striker, big signing, and you think you're the main guy, and you don't play in such a crunch game. But he's got to do more. Madueke's got to do more. Trossard, when he comes on, hasn't scored in 2026. Martin, so many of these attacking players for Arsenal. Odegaard come off as the captain, looked devastated on the bench midweek. Someone's got to step up in the attacking part for Arsenal.
Mikel Arteta obviously hasn't been able to call on Bukayo Saka enough over the course of this period. We know he's had a bit of an Achilles problem. Does he still look to you like he's struggling for a little bit of fitness?
Yes.
And if that's the case, how long is that going to take to sort out?
It's going to need managing between now and the end of the season.
He hasn't had surgery on it, has he?
No, and obviously you've got the World Cup coming up as well, and he's going to be a key man there. I wonder how many minutes he'll get this weekend. He got, 21 plus stoppage time in midweek. You think maybe he might get half an hour, 45, and then possibly start against Atletico Madrid, but it's certainly a problem.
Some of these niggling injuries, though. Some of these injuries wouldn't surprise me. Saka's still struggling, Sam. And he's come to the stage where he's come back because it's crunch time for Arsenal, even with an injury. There's so many injuries, Crookie, that injections to get you through it, and then you're sore until you play again, you don't train. So they've got to be careful with Saka. But
that was the idea of having the big squad, wasn't it? That
exactly.
You could afford to rotate a bit more.
When players aren't turning up, Madueke starts the game bright against Atletico Madrid, fades, looks angry when he comes off. I don't know why you don't do enough. Odegaard, your captain, you're not doing enough. Eze's probably been the bright spark in the last few games for Arsenal.
It wasn't a bad result, though, was it?
No, not at all. Oh, great result. Great result. But it's not just this game, Sam. It's the game before against Newcastle. The fans, they're anxious. It showed the fans all through the game against Newcastle. They're biting the nails. After 50 minutes, they're nervous.
It doesn't seem to come easy to Arsenal at the moment. They don't seem to have it in their locker to... It
hasn't come easy to them all season.
To cruise through games and just put teams to the sword, as they did actually with Atletico in the league phase. You know, that 4-0 victory seems a long time in the past, and I think they'll beat Fulham, but again, I think it might be quite nervy.
What Fulham turn up, though? Did the Fulham turn up that recent weeks when they turned up to Anfield and it was an easy win for Liverpool? They were poor that day. Or is it a Fulham that turn up with an eye on top 7?
Do you think they're also in the back of their mind, Arsenal? They're sort of almost conflicting emotions. They're desperate to win the Premier League for the first time in 22 years. They've never won the Champions League. They haven't even been to a final since 2006. They're on the precipice of both. Is there sort of, do you have to, you cannot prioritise one or the other, can you? You've almost got to just go, every game to the end of the season now, lads. You just got to go for it and just make it happen.
I think they've got to win something now, and that's why losing to Southampton in the FA Cup was so damaging. Why losing the League Cup final was so damaging, because in some ways the pressure would have been off a little bit had they have managed to get a trophy in the cabinet already. Had they have won that League Cup final,
and even if they get past Atletico Madrid, I think they will. People will write Arsenal off in the final against Bayern or PSG, but in a one-off game, Sam, you know what can happen? As much as Bayern and PSG are so good attacking,
the firepower of those two teams frighten me.
Yeah, but Arsenal will play a formation to really frustrate.
That is beauty of the beast, isn't it? That
yeah,
final.
at Bayern or
Whoever
PSG.
qualifies.
Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 0. Wouldn't surprise me in the final.
Is there sort of no middle ground now in terms of the narrative around Arsenal? They're either going to be legends, immortalised in history, for winning something they haven't won in 2 decades, or winning the Champions League for the first time.
Legend is an overused word.
Or
severe bottle jobs.
Are they
fair?
It's going to be one of the two.
If you're for 4 and you win 0, they'll be the laughing stock of the summer. And that's not being harsh. They will be.
Tottenham might have a bit of say in that.
I think Tottenham might take that away from them. But to be up for 4 trophies and people are getting scared, they could win a quadruple. Arsenal to go and win 0. Where does that leave these players next season? Where does that leave the manager?
Well, Emmanuel Petit actually has been speaking about this last week on the show. He said the players soon will lose belief if they keep coming second.
I will answer that question as a player, as a former player. I will be so annoyed. I will think to myself, is it time for me to go somewhere else? Because we've been playing, fighting for the title and for any reason. And this, for me, this season, especially, you have no excuse.
No.
You lose it.
But do you think, I think it'd be crazy to get rid of Arteta personally, even if they don't win anything. But the fans, some Arsenal fans are suggesting if they don't win anything, he should go.
Probably, yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think he has to.
He has to what?
After 5 years and you've only won 1 FA Cup, the money you spent over £1 billion and you haven't won another trophy. Come on.
Bearing in mind they haven't won a title for 22 years and he's got them closer and more relevant than ever before.
Yeah, but look at the money you spent compared to before.
Everyone spends money, Gab.
Yeah, I know.
This whole nonsense of, they spent money. Everyone spends money.
Yeah, but not to the levels of Arsenal, though.
Really?
Man City do, they win things. Liverpool do, they win things. Chelsea do, they win things. They've won recent trophies, haven't they? You can't say they haven't. So
we're talking about the Champions League and the Premier League.
I know, but I just think even Arsenal fans are saying the same thing, like who would back Arteta to the hills. If they don't win a trophy this season, it might not be a case that he gets sacked, but it's a conversation of like, is he the needy man? Simple as that, because it's been in their hands.
What are you hearing? Because you've got your ear to the ground here. I heard something the other week saying that the hierarchy at Arsenal do know they've given him a lot of resource.
Yeah, and I don't think they were overly enamoured with the performance in the League Cup final, but that's not me saying that Mikel Arteta is fighting for his job. I don't believe that is the case, but I think the bigger concern for me is that word belief. If we get to this stage next season, and you'd expect Arsenal to go again in the summer and they're going to be there or thereabouts again, I'm sure of that. But will the fans believe they can get over the line, having thrown it away this year? Will the players believe, having come so close on a couple of occasions now? And I think that's a major issue. And that point that Emmanuel Petit made, players have been very keen to commit their future to Arsenal in terms of signing new contracts. I think Gabriel's done it, Saliba's done it, obviously Saka has done it. But if you don't win anything, are they going to be as keen to buy into the project?
I just wonder if you now discard Mikel Arteta, you might be throwing the baby out with the bathwater because you're going to have to start again.
Well, you've got to find a better option as well. There's not that many top
not the easiest.
I just think as well, though, we talk about the goal difference it could go down to.
You whistling again, Gabs?
Not me, mate.
Who's that?
I don't know. It could go down to goal difference this season. And you watch the performance against Newcastle, and I was just baffled how you're not going for more goals. And then you watch...
It's not in his nature, though, is it?
Yeah, I know, but someone said to me yesterday that...
Put your headphones away because they're whistling. Yeah.
Whistling.
Is that what they said? Yeah, you're too close to the microphone.
Oh,
that works.
I don't understand this.
You know you're on the radio, yeah?
No, but if you look at Manchester City against Burnley, Manchester City, they only won 1-0. We had an Arsenal fan saying, you didn't say the same about Man City. Yeah, because Man City tried to score loads of goals but were not clinical, missing chances. The difference is Arsenal won 1-0, but they weren't going for the second goal. Man City were trying everything. Everyone was missing chances.
You deal in this kind of material. Have you got an XG table?
Yeah.
Where would Arsenal be in that compared to Manchester City over the course of the whole season?
Give me a second. I'll dig it out. It's here somewhere. I think they were second, were they?
Behind City.
No, they're third behind City and Chelsea.
Right.
But there's not much in it. Chelsea are massively underperforming, like massively underperforming.
So they're missing big chances.
Like huge. They're like their differential is 14.73. At Manchester City, 69 goals. They've actually
I get it's about winning.
66, 70, 67 goals. Arsenal, they've scored 64. So they're not
much in it.
There's not much in it between the two.
But you just sense that if it does come down to goal difference, Manchester City have it in their locker to go through the gears and really put teams to the sword.
Of course.
And Arsenal don't.
I actually looked at that table the other day, and one of the things that worried me a little bit for next season and actually going forward was Sunderland are in the bottom three for that table.
Yes. Well,
So
Sam, I
keep
said
an
to
eye
an
on that.
Arsenal fan as well.
The hierarchy are aware of that.
Do you leave the Emirates?
Keep that.
Do you leave the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal fans, entertained?
They won't care about that. They don't care about that.
No one cares about that if they win.
I do as a fan.
You don't.
I do.
What, so if Aston Villa win the Europa League, you're going to moan about the fact that you were rubbish
I
against
want to
Fulham.
see the performance, yeah?
No, you're not.
Okay then, Sam. You go to a game, right?
Tottenham fans,
you're
do
a
you think
Chelsea fan.
They're sitting there going, oh no, when we won the Europa
You're a
League
Chelsea
last year,
fan, right?
Brendan Johnson hit
You're
it
a
with his
Chelsea
face.
fan. You're a man. You take your partner. You take 3 kids, 5 years. You spent £300.
He's not that
food,
generous.
travel. You telling me you spent £300, £400? You're not coming out of a stadium and saying, "Yeah, we might have won 1-0, but I wasn't entertained. Where's the free-flowing football?" I speak to Arsenal fans and they say to me, "I'm not making this up."
Yeah,
they say they're not entertained when they watch their team.
Well, actually, Carl, who's an Arsenal fan, says Arteta and Arsenal have been incredible and improved year after year. No reason to get rid of Arteta. Gabby is clueless. What does Gabby know about winning? Forest again. Ola, ola, ola. Gabby on the nonsense train again, says David. Says Liverpool and Chelsea have won things. Tell me which club would you rather be out of the Arsenal and them. Arsenal are still fighting a well-run club. Arteta ring can only get worse if he goes.
I'm just talking from speaking to fans. Like I said yesterday, I was speaking to a fan at the station the other day. She's works at Birmingham International, Arsenal fan. Says, Gabby, even if we win, I've had enough of this manager. I've had enough of the way we play.
Fan?
She's a match-going fan.
Okay.
She says she's not entertained when she watches her team. That's fair to say. You want to watch your team playing attractive football. Have we not seen managers sacked in the past for not having entertaining football? We have.
03717 22 33 44. And by the way, when you turn around and say, I'm not that generous, you went to Manchester United versus Leeds the other night, didn't you? Who paid for your ticket?
I had to look after your boy.
He had to look after you.
He was babysitting.
You missed the game. He told you how to get into the ground. This is talkSPORT.
Not generous. Shocking, Sam.
Cheeky little kid.
Scott Parker has left his position as head coach of Burnley by mutual consent. The statement says, following confirmation of the club's relegation, Parker and the board held discussions and mutually agreed that his time at Turf Moor would conclude. And the club would like to thank Scott for what he has done, etc., etc. The thing is, we've still got a few games to go, and it would appear that Scott is going now. Which is rather strange, is it not? Why not wait out the rest of the season?
What's the point? I mean, if the decision has been made, what's the point of hanging around? The die has been cast, the agenda has been set. Whether it's a combination of mutual or one person has jumped faster than the other one pushed, who knows? But if you've made a decision, there's no point sticking around. The club's been relegated. You might find a few people having a few choice words to say to the manager at the back end of the season because they're disappointed with the club's relegation. Why subject him to that? Why subject yourself to that? Because I think there is a little bit of disquiet about some of the performances from certain sections of the Burnley fans. If I read the room right, if I'm wrong, I'll be happy to be corrected.
Okay.
But Scott Parker can leave with no worse a job than say Vincent Kompany did. I am disappointed that I thought they would be more competitive insofar as I care about Burnley, but I thought that they would be more competitive because they came up in such a way with such a robust and resilient defence that seems to.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
What we say?
What was that, Crookie?
What was that, Crookie?
I can't remember. We always have fun in the ad breaks, don't we?
It's talkSPORT, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're here through until 1 o'clock. Matterface, Crook and Gabby Keown thoroughly enjoyed it this morning, driving to Sheffield from Inverness. Just wondered if you knew any more details on the takeover at Sheffield Wednesday. Class show, fellas. Well, we do, don't we? Because we've been touting it this morning. We probably should give you a little bit of an update on that.
Yeah, it should be ratified today, as far as I understand it. David Storch, the American businessman who's behind the consortium, I think flew in overnight. He's going to be at the game tomorrow, which is a sellout at Hillsborough, even though obviously they've got nothing to play for against West Brom. So credit to Sheffield Wednesday fans. The club shop has reopened after a stock take, so it feels like much better times are ahead. Not sure they're going to get out of this 15-point deduction, which obviously is a blow for next season. But yeah, £20 million the takeover, and hopefully they can start to work their way back up to where their fans feel they belong.
Yeah, our fingers crossed.
I was there on loan as a 19-year-old. The fan base they've got Sheffield Wednesday. I feel sorry for them, and hopefully better times ahead.
Well, what an effort tomorrow to sell out the stadium when you're already relegated. They've won a game for months. It's brilliant.
How'd you get on loan at Sheffield Wednesday?
I got sent back after 2 months. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Did you score?
No.
That's some decent attempts though, Crookie. Yeah, I got sent back to Birmingham. Get out of here.
Dear, oh dear.
Did you hit the post?
Yes. Big post in the Championship.
Burnley heading to the Championship. The former Leeds and Burnley winger Aaron Lennon will be alongside Mark Wilson tonight for live commentary of Leeds against Burnley. Quick word on that game tonight. Are you a little bit surprised, actually, that they've decided to part ways with Scott Parker at this stage of the season when they can still have an influence on the relegation race? They played Leeds. They've got Arsenal in a couple of weeks on a Monday night as well. I mean, does that sit comfortably with you?
It's gone a bit stale, hasn't it? You've got to look at Burnley this season. Some decent games, but they lack so much quality. Even Haaland's first goal, the one goal in the game, how can it be that easy for Doku to turn and one through ball? Happened quite a lot this season. Defensively, probably the worst I've seen Burnley.
I thought they played quite well, actually, in the match against Manchester City.
The goals they give up all season are too easy. Have they got a problem next season as well with the players that they've got?
I think
they're going to have players that want to leave.
I think they've got a little bit of a financial issue as well. The accounts don't make particularly good reading. Obviously, we've reported that Craig Bellamy doesn't seem keen to swap Wales for Burnley. So, interested to see who goes in. Steven Gerrard's been mentioned. I think it's a difficult job. I don't think it's a given that they're definitely going to come back up.
It's only an attractive job if you've got the money to shape the squad in the way that you want to shape it. I mean, there's not many. I don't look at that squad and think there's loads of saleable assets there.
They bought a lot of players, didn't they?
Who's going to buy Armando Broja? I mean, what a terrible waste of money that is.
Yes, never fit. But they brought a lot, didn't they, when they come into the Premier League? Reshaped the squad, especially in the Championship. Have they got players now that will think to themselves, I'm better than the Championship?
That's a problem.
Strangely so.
Well, interestingly, Sean Dyche was talking about the type of manager that they can get into Burnley when he was on breakfast this morning, and he was talking about those two big names that we've also discussed.
Bellamy obviously worked under Vince and Company there, so he'll know the people involved and, you know, the ownership and the likes and the feel of the club. Stevie G, I mean, look, you know, does he want to go back in at that level? Does he want to? I mean, it's only an hour and a quarter from where he's from. I mean, if you're going to do it like Frank has at Coventry, go into a good concern, and that is a good concern. There's no, I mean, I question the idea of doing the same model and it not working, but that doesn't mean that in the Championship they've got it wrong. Because let's face it, they've gone straight back up again. So I do think there'll be money available. I do think they'll retain some good players there. Certainly, with all due respect, Championship players who know the Championship, who can do the job in the Championship, and they might bounce back stronger. So I get why that would be an attractive proposition for Stevie G. I know he's a world famous player and stuff, but he's up and down with the management thing. Been over in Qatar, obviously. A lot made of that. Comes back. Is he ready to go again? And a good platform for him, I feel.
I think Sean Dyche was brilliant on breakfast this morning. It was an excellent show, and hopefully we'll get more of him over the course of the next few weeks. So hands off, no managerial jobs, please, Sean. Stick with us. The assistant manager, Mike Jackson, is going to take charge of the last 4 games of the season, starting with Friday night's trip to Leeds United, which is live on talkSPORT. Could be a massive weekend, couldn't it? 'Cause if Leeds win tonight and then West Ham win tomorrow, all the pressure on Sunday night's trip to Aston Villa for Tottenham Hotspur, which is also live on talkSPORT. And if Arsenal were to beat Fulham on Saturday night, as many people expect they will, then it puts the pressure on Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, who go to Everton, live on talkSPORT on Monday night from 7 o'clock. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your company today.
Always
Enjoyed
a pleasure,
it.
guys.
And we'll be back on Monday morning, Crook and I, to review all of the weekend's action, 10 till 1, bank holiday.
Working
Monday.
too much, used to.
Huh?
You're working too much.
That's another reason we can claim a share of that trophy, by the way. Every bank holiday we get parachuted in.
Yeah, okay.
Simon doesn't work bank holidays?
Yeah, nice long weekend in Marbella, I think, this weekend for Simon, I would have thought. Celebrating his award success.
Exactly.
Congratulations to him and to Jim. Paul and Charlie Baker are in the chair next.
Frank, I want to move on to a player that you give his debut for Chelsea, Reece James. How important is he for Chelsea and also for the World Cup in the summer?
Yeah, Reece, what an incredible player, an incredible lad. I've been really pleased with how he's taken to the captaincy there as well, because I think from afar, I feel like I've seen him grow into that position, because he was always quite a quiet lad, Reece. Kept his thoughts to himself, but when you did speak to him, he was very articulate. But the quality level, Gabby, I mean, when I first went to Chelsea, I had a good understanding of the academy because of the lads that were working with me. But to see his talent level, I mean, I've never seen someone who gets a 70-yard crossfielder and just brings it down in his chest and then can do whatever he wants to the ball. It's a really incredible technique. But his whole game that he's got now, pace and power and the quality levels. So, yeah, massively important for Chelsea. You see that when he's not playing. He's managed to play more regularly this season, which has been great, but obviously out recently. And yeah, without picking Thomas's squad for him or his team, I think Reece James is one of the best right backs in the world.